year of fire, the year of destruction,
the year we took back what was ours.
Welcome to Babylon 5.
Zaphras knew you would come. It was the year of rebirth, the year of great sadness. And a year of joy. It was a new age.
And we're back. And yes, there's an overlay, and I am here. I was just dicking around. So let me just turn that off quickly. Like, hi, chat. We're back. It is another Monday for Babylon 5 Mondays. We are still going through season 4, and the Shadow War not has ended, but the remnants and allies are still around. And with that, I want to say, hey, how's it going? Hoping everyone's having a great day, whether it's with a coffee, a good meal, good book, or a good aneurysm. You know you're on YouTube with one of those things. Other than that, let's bring out my panel. Against all better judgment, and someone who's actually on time, and I'm watching everyone right now in the back room. Everyone just grabbed a coffee or an espresso. Not just you, everyone did. Keith did too. You did too. I got the finger in the back. It's great. I feel very included right now. The first up, as always, who's actually on time is the Keith himself. Hi, Keith.
Hey, how's it everyone?
How's it going, Tyson? How's it going? Next up, another Daga and Outlaw. How you doing?
Hey, how's that Canadian convoy?
That convoy is scaring a lot of SJWs. Like, they're honking too loud. They're being too loud. I can't get my sleep while raging online. I've actually seen comments. Next up, we have Kate and the convoy and the look of what the fuck.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
Oh, it's great.
I mean,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, please to God, I hope your headphones are charged. Monkey Jeebus. How you doing, Monkey?
Hey, guys.
Hi. How are you? I didn't mean to do it like that. I meant to do it like that. Oh, wait. That's the wrong one, too. Oh, wait. There we go. All right. We're good. I'm learning overlays. I was messing around all day. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into season 4, episodes 7 and 8, both known as Epiphanies and the Illusion of Truth, which are pretty good episodes because I still want to punch CNN after watching that episode.
Yes.
We're going to go through the chat. And first up, we have, am I really first? Only when you wake up. And second, only when you go to sleep. R1 Avalon, Daryl, how you doing, bro? He had some good streams this weekend. I don't know how he lasted that long. Third time's the charm. I'm not counting anymore for you, Daryl. You took up half my chat. Das Wolfen, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great time. Trinoculus P, nice intro. Thank you. Worked on it myself after WB keeps claiming numerous times different attempts of doing it right. Archer Collins says, memes will be memes. That's the answer to my polls to and can be bothered to come up with this week. I'm sorry. You want to pull? You super chat it. Just kidding. Who else do we got here? We got Terry Rose going awesome, and hello, Lady Arwen. And I know I saw other names. Where the hell are you guys? There's my brother in arms, Jester Sin, who not only games, wonders why I still put up with this shit. Well, it's because I can, and I like him. And I believe... Oh, we have the Nerporial life form. Did Carr lose his eye already? Spoilers. And Trinoculus' cat has PTSD. Arwen can help you. About cats. That's all I know. And Mountains of Elysium, thank you for joining us last week. Clark did nothing. Fuck that shit. I'm not reading the rest of that crap. I enjoy your time. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And I think I saw the Dork Knight. I wonder the hell his sentence went, because I can't see him in the StreamYards, but I can see him in the chat. Dork Knight, are you here? Holy crap, dude, that is weird. You are not in my StreamYard chat, but you're in the YouTube chat. I can't even highlight them. That's weird. Yeah, I see you. Dork Knight, I do see you here. Aiken, I see you as well, but I cannot see you in the chat. That is so weird. But, oh my God. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. My StreamYard is having a stroke. Oh, there you are. Now you appeared. Hey, guys. You changed your avatar again. Now you have ears. That's good. And I know I saw Aiken somewhere. Good day. And thank you, everyone, for being here. So how you guys doing? I talk too much.
Good.
Oh, I'm fantastic. Yeah. But anyone else have anything to add? You have a good weekend? You run over any cats? Sorry, PTSD.
Everything's
Why are you
special.
like mutilating cats and stuff? Is that like your new hobby, collecting and mutilating cats?
No, I just pin them to boards and blame someone else.
Okay.
He extracts his
It's not how I extract Crisco. No, I don't pin up cats. I don't leave the house. It's too cold to pin up cats. It takes a lot. All right, let's get into this. We're in Epiphanies, episode 7, because this has just gone right off the rails, even for my standards. And it starts with a celebration. We got Star Furies dropping fireworks like it's hot. Everyone's having a good time, even though it feels like the 1940s is having like a World War II celebration right there on the command deck. It's like, hey, they're doing the bumping, they're doing the jiving. And yes, at least you're welcome. It was a pleasure having you on. Keith, anyone want to add something before we get into this? Any favorite moments? Like, I know besides your tan is still there from Hawaii, you bastard.
It just seems different. The show feels a little bit different.
It should. This is kind of, a lot of the changes from having to make the changeover from Sinclair to Sheridan. This part of the story is radically different than what was originally planned for the show. Originally, if I remember correctly, the war itself was meant to go all the way to the end of the series.
Really?
And yeah, that's not the way, because the actual ending for the entire show was that, Sheridan was not meant to be on the show. It was all Sinclair. And so the relationship that you see with Sheridan and Delenn was meant to be Sinclair and Delenn. And that Delenn was to follow him back in time so that he became Valen. And that was part of the original idea for the show. So
he's doing spoilers for the next show.
I don't even think he's going to go down that direction. I think he's going to try to choose something a little different. Yeah. I think after all these years of being, again, one of the few creatives that likes to talk to the fans, I think he's got something else up his sleeve.
I agree with that. And a big congratulations, though, quickly. Mountains of Elysium, big step towards my wife getting her Irish citizenship today. Got all of her legal documents signed. Now we just have to fill out a few more forms and wait a year. Congratulations. I can't wait for that to go through. We'll have a party on the deck of Babylon 5 like Delenn and Sheridan right there who are holding hands secretly without holding hands. But, yeah, I agree. And Dorgnut, you do make a good point. Check your DMs in a little bit. The war is over now. You should expect a tonal change. But there is a tonal change. Even when he starts doing the monologue, you can hear the weight of war is no longer in his voice. It's no longer do or do not. It has now been done. And now the only things left to worry about is Earth, Psycorp, and making sure Babylon 5 can function each day because of what we're going to start seeing throughout these episodes. And again, interlinked, and they just absorb themselves into like one long 2-hour movie in a way. It feels like every 2 episodes feels like a chapter in a book. That's the way it feels to me.
Yeah.
But yeah. As you were going on, Keith, go ahead. If anyone has
I was just saying, we're experiencing, what you're feeling and experiencing. I think at the time when they were making the series was a new direction for how to end the show. And it, in some ways it works, and in some ways it almost doesn't. But in the end, it all fits together, and it's all adds to the magic of what this show truly is. So,
yeah, I agree. Now, does any of you guys have any like things that you just stuck out to you, or you I know Keith in general has been the one that's been shushing us for about a year and a half every time we're getting into spoilers when it comes to Shadow War. Literally, like I said, I'm going through all the Babylon 5, and I'm literally looking for every time it goes shush. He turns into a Swedish chef, just like shushing it, and I just want to put his head on Dr. Evil's body while he's doing it. But if anyone has anything to add, go take the floor, because I'm not going to talk crazy this time because I go on tangents.
Yeah, you will. You always do anyway.
I know, I'm being a liar. But go ahead, guys. You guys are the biggest fans. He's like, you guys have all run out of paraphernalia to share now, and it's like very awkwardly quiet.
I think regardless of how much they were strapped, this is a little difficulty. It's not the storytelling as much as it is the I think the way he ran his command. Two things he should have done. One I don't want to talk about because it will be a little bit of a spoiler, but the other one is he should have, with Lita, given her at least free room and board. Because of all the things that they require her to do all the time, they never pay her. She should be given free room and board, just as a courtesy for everything that she does and has done. But they don't, and it leads to problems later on.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that are set up in this episode. In fact, one of the things that happens in this episode also is a kind of a setup for the spin-off television series. So,
right.
Of course, there are lots of things involved in this show that are part of that spin-off television series, but
right. And there's a big thing with Garibaldi. I'll talk about it later. That should have been taken care of.
You missed the joke. You missed the joke, Dork Knight. You missed the yes, because there's actually some people on here. Kate is the first time run through of this series. There are other people who have not seen this series. That is true. There are people in the community that has not seen any of this series. And he was worried because we wanted to go into it because it's been a while since anyone has pretty much watched it, and it was going kind of like back in the first time. So we didn't want to spoil anything, especially with first-time viewers, and let them experience it as we started talking about it. Because a lot of people did episodes back to back. Memes was another one. Whenever he shows the hell up, we're not worried. He was just very angry and prominent about the shushing. I think he loved to shush everyone.
Just me quite a few times.
Yeah, he did. He got everyone.
It's that whole parental thing, I'm still wired that way, so I apologize.
No, don't apologize. Come on, we don't realize that. Go ahead.
At least it wasn't like the library ghost shush.
No, it's to maintain low tones. Right, is that it? Yeah. That's my dad.
I liked seeing how everyone all the new fans were responding as we were going through the episodes. That's really one of my favorite things about doing this is, how people respond to this stuff and their reactions, and given everything that they've seen with different types of television shows, to come into this, and in those particular cases of people that really respond really well, it still amazes me on some level. I'm still worried that this show could be, and there have been people that have said that they're not the biggest fans. They don't out and out hate it, I don't know, Discovery. But, there are those people that's like, well, this isn't exactly my thing, but they can respect it, and that's fine, So
another great thing about this episode as we're going through is how Babylon 5 is starting to hear on how they're being villainized. And this can have perfect relation to how some of us have been dealing with stuff over the last few years, especially whether it's the trucker convoy, whether you're mandator, pro-mandate, all that stuff. It goes even farther back than that. And it's so relatable because it's like you're not getting a fair say on what to say, but everyone is already putting that label on you. And the people that put those labels on you, they're not doing it to help the majority. They're doing it for themselves. It can be looked upon as a projection, a blame game, that their own principles are outweighed by the amount that they're bribed. However you want to look at it, that's just the way I'm looking at that. And those types of people either fall eventually or end up very alone.
A lot of times their insults are what they're guilty of.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. And the way, like this dude in general, he looks like a very angry cowboy in the wrong year, is talking to Bester. Sorry?
An SS officer.
Yes. But yeah, I feel bad for him because like they just got out of the war, and all of a sudden they're turning on ISN, and it's pretty much we got Sector 49, which is the jump gate. The last jump gate before getting to Babylon 5 is being now gated off with the shoot to kill mandate, pretty much, or shoot to fire. We don't know there's something else going on in the background, and they're saying that, yeah, not to be trusted, alien influence, whatever it is going on, because Clark has lost that influence with the shadows. So they have to go down another road.
It's scary how fragile society is.
How so?
Like, people, like, at 1 minute, like, we're all getting along, and the next minute, like, we're turning on, like, they could turn on each other.
Well, I think you're getting what it is to be at the center of a revolution. You know, there is a kind of a loneliness there, separation. When you're part of something that changes everything. And in this particular case, part of a massive war. To be a victor doesn't always lead to everything going the way that you would like it to go, or things being easy. It's opening the door to other things that you may not have seen coming. You've now taken
the losers are going to frame you as an evil empire.
Well, part of it. But I mean, there are also several things that come from all of this. You know, no good deed goes unpunished.
What is the Agent J speech? Can someone reaffirm what that is?
That's oh man.
Is he talking about
hopefully ahead of time? Roll
Men in
Tide,
Black?
hello, Keely Chow. I don't know. Tranaka says
people are
That's from the first movie. I know what it is.
Men in Black.
Yeah. While you guys are trying to solve that, those people take away voices thinking they're doing good, and it's domination at its core. It's also, in a way, gatekeeping and whisper networking, but out loud. You're saying, oh, this, and this is because they did this, and this, but you're not giving a reasoning behind it, or because you're trying to push this narrative because you or who, in my opinion.
Okay.
Then what
but
is
it
it?
Is specifically Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. It's personalized, polarized pivot.
Yep.
That's what it is. And
I've
you
never
can
heard that.
use it. Oh, okay, that's fine. You can use it for gatekeeping, absolutely, and you're not wrong. It's just it is something more tactical and specific that they're doing. But they don't know that they're doing it often, which makes it scary.
Yeah. Those ones. Yeah, I can agree with that. If you don't know you're doing it and you're doing it, does that fall into like the blind sheet mechanic, or the fact that you're just believing whatever you see on TV, like the way people can persuaded by CNN or any type of news format? Like in this case, ISN.
Yeah, it's like the NPC joke.
Yeah, non-playable character. Kate dropping truth. That's right. And like, that sucks. But I think I've seen both sides, and when you actually see the sides that continue to do it and of their own volition, even though they know, like they've actually admitted to themselves, or they actually know what they're doing is a lie, or it's something that is not true, or they're just going because they've made that choice. I feel more sorry for them. Like, I know, like, when we look at ISN, yeah, it's probably part of their paycheck, but we see how ISN fell in the other season, right? When they were trying to get the real world out before Clark's forces took over. There was that moment of terror when they couldn't do it no more. And that kind of relates to what we're going to get in the next episode after this. And we see this even whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on Twitter. We see it everywhere. And do you think a person is weak when it comes to this, that they choose to follow the narrative, follow the lie? Or do you think that it's cowardice? I ask all you guys.
It's cowardice, because for the majority, I shouldn't say all of them, because a lot of people will try and do the silence tactic simply because they don't want to hear the facts. They're afraid of them. So they do whatever they can to silence opposition. It's another form of the old book burning, you know? Let's not face the truth and live in our little delusions and force those delusions on everybody else, whether it be through ISN or what have you.
Yeah. Pat Wannabe says, hashtag Hash Brown, NPC lives matter, and only in Skyrim. Hi, Steven. Hi, panel. I get the joke. That's kind of funny.
That's like the dead internet thing.
And Dork, I sent you an invite if you want to pop on. Sadly, Thoth couldn't make it today because of things that are going on where he's living, so we were scheduled to have him on as a guest in the future. Sheeple, that's right. Thinking of Joe Rogan now and how people are trying to silence his conversations. Well, you know, there's no Neil Young being played here. You guys are all safe, you know. Oh, man, look at my stream. I don't give a shit.
No Joni Mitchell either.
Who?
Joni Mitchell.
Who?
Yeah, who?
Yeah, exactly. Who? But
We got some animals in here.
does anyone else have anything to add on that? The whole fucking sheeple thing and how like this like it's amazing how these episodes just apply to this day and age too.
Well,
it has this timeless narrative. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
we don't
they're
get that
timeless.
anymore. We
It's-
don't get that anymore.
No, it's difficult to write that because people they just want what's in front of them. They don't actually learn history and things that are applicable and relatable because it's a human nature thing. They just do what they're told because we have a lot of institutions that condition them for that and condition for many things, and that has been ongoing for a very long time, 50, 100 years. It's depending on the environment. It's been many generations of deception.
It's kind of like the Manchurian Candidate on repeat.
You know, I think really this is one of those instances where you had an incredible writing staff. I mean, JMS and all the writers, and of course, the late great Harlan Ellison, who, again, I will tell people, you need to read some of his speeches. You need to read some of what he had to say during this period of time. There's a lot of Harlan that comes out in a lot of the speeches that are given on this show. He is someone that did not suffer fools at all. He had no patience for people who are willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
And yeah, the guy was a bit of an a-hole.
I love that.
But he was an intelligent man. And there is a lot that he had to say in the few interviews that he would give, where he wasn't either pissing off the reader or the audience or even the person interviewing him, you know. But that didn't make what he had to say less true, you know. I find as every year that passes, you know, I should just get a T-shirt that says Harlan was right. You know,
you should, because
he was the secret weapon of this show, because that's the biggest difference between this show and a lot of other shows that were on in and around this period. You know, he was a very opinionated guy, but he had every right to be because he was that smart.
And that's the thing. A lot of people that do have the intelligence, do have whether it's the education or just the know-how, because they've read the books, they've done the studying, they've done, let's say, the rabbit hole jumping in, and they can factually back themselves up. They do come across as assholes sometimes, even dicks, because the person on the other end that called them out eventually gets told how much they don't know, and automatically it's, oh, well, you're an asshole. I'm like, no, you just haven't done enough digging, and it comes on all four fronts. Well,
now, Napoleon, I see what you're saying about Harlan, but let me you got to understand something, okay? Harlan, at the time he gave that interview on the Tom Snyder show, was still kind of butthurt from what happened working on Star Trek, okay? And while he is was a very intelligent guy. That didn't stop him from being a bit of a jackass at times himself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the story about how he wrote The City on the Edge of Forever and how long he actually took to write it and what was eventually revealed about why he was taking so long, you know, that created some hard feelings. And then when the episode got nominated for an Emmy, even though it was his idea and he wrote the original script, Roddenberry came along and made adjustments to that script. So both of their names were submitted for that. And then when it won, I think Roddenberry took the award.
Mm-hmm. We have a new person in the chat. I think that's Alaric Harrelson. Says, someone is too old when they go from rebels, heroes to sellouts. Young and Mitchell were leaders during the Vietnam War protests, and now they're mimicking the same people they said not to believe. And
they've been replaced by reptilians.
No, reptilians wouldn't actually. So that's where the V series went, to Spotify. All right, got that. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. There was one other thing. Mountains of Lithium quickly jumps in with. I love the fact Harlan Ellison and JMS planted a fake Ellison novel on the show, so people would go crazy looking for it and be unable to find it. That was the episode TKO. Total.
That was a good joke. That was a real good joke.
It is funny.
It is funny. Emporial says his version Spock pushes Edith Keller into the truck, I believe. And Roddenberry rewrote it. Well, that's cool. He didn't push her. He held Kirk back from saving her. Wow, this debate's getting kind of awesome. Oh, in his version. My bad. Oh, there we go. Or pod people. No, I don't want to insult pod people.
Or maybe it's like the butterflies in Peacemaker.
I haven't watched Peacemaker. I don't. For some reason, him hugging an eagle bothers me. Well, Kirk held somebody. It's been a while since I saw Big Game. Yeah, I get it, Dork. You don't need you don't need a Joe Rogan. It's okay. Nope, sorry, bad joke. I'm just kidding. The backtracking stuff going on. Everyone's saying he's doing. That was a bad joke. It's we're not going to remember every episode pristinely all the time, so it's all good, man. But yeah, that's one of the things I love about this show is we're like. The timeless thing that Kate says it's a beautiful art, and honestly, I really hope the generations after when I'm gone or any of us are gone, they have some type of media that hasn't been burned, that hasn't been deleted, hasn't been altered in a computer update, that they can always turn to and see how history, even 30 years ago, can repeat itself even today and be applied to how to live your life. And I think we need more of those types of things, not rhetoric, but layered lessons. There's a difference.
I think that reminds me of something that, again, Harlan Ellison had given in one of his college lectures and talked about, I think somebody had asked him about why he had gotten upset and walked out of a lecture once because I think he had accused the audience of not understanding history. And at that time, we're talking the 1970s. So he was talking about World War II, and he started talking about all of these places, the various camps. And he had no response from any of the students in the audience as he named off all these places, and he walked out. Because in his mind, in his opinion, it's like these people are just, they're dumb. I can't waste my time with them.
But the 60s and 70s for college environments was very weird and turbulent because that's when people started to finally have to realize that plate tectonics was a real thing. It's not old. That science is not old. And so I can't say that that's surprising because it was like something that we understand to be completely comprehensive now was not then. And so, yeah. But, again, institutions.
Harlan Ellison also submitted a script to Land of the Lost. A few of the Star Trek writers on LOTL nixed the script. Ooh. And, dude, I just found out I got exposed, so I've been good at dodge. All right, well, just be safe, dude. Just be safe.
We'll talk later, big man.
I don't know how you're playing tag, but good luck. Or it's more like, is it more like Red Rover? Red Rover, Red Rover. I call none of that crap over. Like the Circle Square. Oh God, please don't talk about that. Don't ever talk about that show, dude. That was the creep. They used puppets and singing in Christianity. I'm not mocking religion. I'm saying the show itself was it felt very soulless. You remember Circle Square? Circle Square, literally, they had kids and puppets. And they were talking about life lessons. But every time they broke out into one of those weird songs that didn't feel like a song, they did these weird close-ups like Romper Room, and they just stared soullessly into the camera.
Oh my
God!
God!
You remember Circle Square? Oh
my God! You're right.
And it felt, I couldn't tell because the kids in the morning when they were watching this, like, because I did my research on it, a little research on it, and kids in the morning they would watch it, like you would watch it because it wouldn't be much on a Sunday morning, and it felt like you were kind of being indoctrinated into loving puppets and religion, and I was like, you would turn to the littlest hobo at that point. What? I'm not.
Forgot all that.
Most people want to forget all that. Does anyone else remember Circle Square? Like,
I have no idea what it is.
I've never heard of it ever.
Here we go.
Be glad. Be glad.
Yeah, I'll stick with
it. This is from the 80s, and I hate doing it. This is like back in the day. Hold on, I'm gonna stop this screen, and I'm gonna quickly share something horrifying. My opinion, it's horrifying. If you all think I'm being mean, well, your problem. Now, this is back in the day of Global, because I remember that G sign. I watch a lot of cartoons and stuff, but like, hey, I was a heathen back then. Well, most of us are still heathens. Congratulations. Were they children of the corn? No, corn was terrified of them. I'm sorry.
Almost all of us are barbarians, so
yeah,
we got that in common.
But here we go. This is Canadian, I believe, and they had like these Romper Room Circle Square. That's the whole thing right there, and they're staring soullessly, like you know what I'm talking about. Like they're all just staring soullessly into the camera, and it was called Circle Square. And then you get into, there we go. Here are the creepy puppets. You see, this is what I was talking about right here.
He's wearing American colors.
I know, but it was like the Swedish Chef, but South Park versions in the 80s.
I've never heard of this or seen it.
Well,
it's a Puerto Rican flag.
This is and this is what I was talking about. They make them stand in these weird positions, and they're all staring soullessly at the camera.
It's probably because they're like, if they sing, it's a choir thing, so they have to be in the right spot for acoustics.
Maybe that too.
But it's not less awkward, but that might be why.
It's like a bad J.C. Penney's ad.
Yeah.
It's like the song at the end of Meatballs.
Kmart.
Oh, that kid was about the face palm.
Yeah, it's for.
I don't even think they're singing though. That's the weird shit. I just think they're mouthing it. Who
Yeah,
says we didn't have inclusivity? Yeah.
Is that Tezonde?
How the fuck would I know?
The chocolate ring kid?
I'm sorry. I'm staring at this and my soul's getting sucked away because
it looks like Joey Lawrence.
With that one?
Turn away!
Yeah.
Steven, turn away!
And the other guy looks like
Caroline! Come to the light, Caroline! Oh my God.
It's Justin Timberlake.
And then they had the puppets right there. They did this wide thing, like there's the girl in her box, and it was just like,
is that Smokey the Bear in the back?
I don't fucking know. So everyone remembers this nightmare, right? I'm in pain.
No.
Yeah, welcome to
No, I'm an American.
Yeah, thank God.
I remember seeing part of that. I don't know how I saw it, but I do remember this room. Oh, geez. Now I only watched it like one time. I think I was visiting someone in Chicago.
Wait, there's diversity?
No, luckily, the only Canadian entertainment I've been exposed to either through television or my parents. No, well, yeah, I don't like that personally, but that was like, whatever. It was Red, Green, and then whatever the really obscure show Rick Moranis did in the 70s before SNL.
SCTV.
Yeah,
SCTV.
that.
Yeah.
Which is gold.
Highlander, the
It's still
series?
hilarious.
I feel sorry because like the kids in the back, I think everyone has had that thing like, you need to stand on the stool. Your mom wants a nice picture for school. You got to stand there. Then you can put the backdrop behind you. It's like, why are you making them kneel like Captain Morgan? I think Captain Morgan plagiarized this whole stance right here. And like you're saying diversity, this kid's head is so fucking tiny. I'm sorry. But like, yeah, diversity right there, and creepy puppets and man buns existed back then for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, that was Circle Square.
1980s, and we can't escape the 70s.
Honestly, tucked in shirts is just scary. It's like, no offense, any kids who had their parents dress them and tuck in the shirt, you probably got beat up. Not gonna lie. Am I wrong? Did anyone else get beat up and having to tuck? Yeah, even Keith's like looking down, going, "I remember getting beat."
Oh no, I didn't get beat up, but I mean, I remember those kids. It's like,
I'm like, which bowl did they use on your head for the haircut? I wonder. Oh, come on. There's always that one kid in class that had the bowl cut, okay? Because they couldn't go to the barber, so they put the metal bowl on the head, and they just cut it around. It's evil. I think I'm one of those boys is a woman in her mid-40s. Oh, my God.
you know what?
Yeah, probably.
I also remember those kids who were unlucky enough to go to the barber with their grandfather and ended up getting the military cut.
Crew cut.
Oh, the barber cut. And I'm not being mean. I'm being facetious about the show. It was the creepiest shit ever. When I heard about it, I had to go look into it because it was like, hey, it's a show with puppets and Muppets. And I'm like, it was bad.
Just way too much symbolism in those images that you showed. I just freaked me out.
Or Captain Kangaroo had like a puppet.
Yeah, but Captain Kangaroo was fun. This looks like, hi, welcome to your cult. Would you like a puppet?
It just looks like public theater, which is fine,
Maybe.
but it doesn't. Like that's the set they did it on at their local community theater.
Oh
No, that's
man,
the
on
proper
Best of the
stance.
Worst, they were like watching this one puppet show.
I used to watch
And
a
then-
Jewish kids show in the 60s. It was only in the Chicago market called Tiny Toad. Loved it. Never heard of it, actually. Red Green was great, but Red Green was known for one thing, duct tape segments. 90% duct tape segments and mocking the fact they didn't want to go home to their wives. I think that was the main pretense of Red Green. Yep.
No, and then no, you're missing the most important part. Man's prayer. I'm a man. I can change if I have to, I guess.
That is good. That is awesome. Padawami says, I remember the Electric Company, 321 Contact, and Kids Incorporated, but not this show. Thank God. Yeah, well, I'm going to make you remember those images for the rest of your life. It's going to be in every Babylon 5 thumbnail from now on. Like, here's the whites and Keith's eyes right there. It was before my time too, but when I hear about shows, I sometimes do digging, and you always find something interlinked because Canada doesn't have many shows that I know about. It's
Electric Company had Spider-Man.
Did
Yeah,
they?
it did. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was for many kids, that was your first live action introduction to Spider-Man was on the Electric Company, of which I think even Stan Lee made 1 or 2 appearances.
Really?
So, oh yeah. Well, I mean, you got to remember Marvel at this time. I mean, you're coming out of the 60s. And while Marvel sold well with certain people, it still wasn't on the same level as DC. So, Stan was going out and making deals left, right, and center to try to get as many Marvel characters out there as possible. And pretty much from about 1970 to about 1976, Spider-Man was like the biggest thing. You'd almost think that was the only character that Marvel had because they started putting Spider-Man every place.
Now it's the only character that Disney doesn't have. Ooh.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank God. Patawanami says, I do remember the Flowbee haircutting vacuum. Does anyone else on the panel remember the Flowbee?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Picture a vacuum with scissors. I think that's what it was.
There's a lot about the 70s. I have done a very good job of suppressing, forgetting, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot that, unless you live through it, there's a lot that you really want to forget. So, Pet Rock, anybody? Anybody?
Oh my
I'm
god!
still sure about that one because that was an easy idea. Even I could have done that, but I don't know. Pet rock, eating dirt, all that other stuff. So that was an actual diet put up there by somebody. Oh yeah, get back to nature. Let's eat dirt. It's like, really? People were eating dirt?
Yeah. Everyone knows that
Even
one
as a
kid that
child,
was
Anna
eating
eats
mud
dirt.
at class.
Yeah, but even as a child, even I knew that was a scam. You know, I was that kid going, well, that's dumb. Why would you want to eat dirt? You know, but
That Star Wars girl eats dirt.
She
She
has
says
admitted
Gopher
that.
dirt's the best.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Flowbee. It literally is. It literally is hair clippers attached to a vacuum cleaner.
Oh man.
So, is this the template for like contemporary infomercials? Because I'm guessing this was the template for that.
I have no idea. It's just funny watching people using a device that could probably rip shit out of from the root, and they're like smiling the whole time. It feels great in my hair.
A lot of what we're
Flowbees
talking about,
to the lawnmower.
I think, with the exception of this, a lot of what we've been discussing is pretty much pre-Star Wars. So now you know what it was like.
Mountains of Listener says it was the inspiration for the suck cut. What? There's a device called the suck cut?
I think
3
that's from a
people
movie.
just left the stream going, what the fuck?
Phrasing.
I think it's a parody from a movie.
I gotta have to look into that. But okay, getting back to Babylon 5, since we've gone off into a weird sect of whatever. Okay, take it away, Keith. I need to get a quick drink, so just give me a second.
Well, everybody, as we had stated before, yes, the war is over. It was time to take a little bit of give yourselves a moment to celebrate. So that's what we're doing on board Babylon 5. Oh, and also to let you know, this story actually takes place from February 1st to the 15th of 2261. Let's see. So we start with...
just before third space.
Just before third space. Yes, you're right. So we start off with the entire celebration, and John notices Delenn, and they have their big, they talk and decide that now is a good time to just let everybody just have their moment. Meanwhile, at Psi Corps headquarters, Bester is being informed that President Morgan Clark has commissioned a new program involving the Psi Corps, Earth Force, Night Watch, and the Ministry of Peace. Now, he can't reveal many details, but he says that Clark has been rattled by something and wants Babylon 5 shut down for good. Of course, we as the audience know exactly what that is. You know, he was in league with Mr. Morden in the shadows, and now that they're no longer around,
He has no force of an old race to back him the F up.
That's right. He's feeling kind of exposed. So let's see. So on Centauri Prime, Londo has decided that it's time for him to leave.
Yeah, he wants the F out.
Basically.
It's not even that. Their whole council is taking longer than ever to pick an emperor because they don't want another psychopath empire. And
that's right.
And he just wants the F out. And they're begging him to stay, but he just wants out. And that weirdo that's been around forever with the how many Centenarans does it take to open a door joke is still... I don't understand how... He is like the jester of Centauri, and yet he hasn't been labeled it yet. He is so out of touch.
They did have a jester.
Milo. Yeah, his name was Milo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I like
the dog.
Kinda. Milo Verini. And this is when Londo informs him that while they're still trying to pick an emperor, he informs Milo that they've decided to appoint a regent, and he's it.
That's
And so he just, he tells him, he shows him the people that'll be working for him, and then Londo just gets the out. So, Anyway, meanwhile, in B5, the med lab, Dr. Franklin is examining Jakar, and he offers him a prosthetic.
Why does it itch? It's not in my head, yet it's always itching, and I want to scratch it. It's phantom limb syndrome, but it's always itching. And did you know what device they used to pull out your eye? Well, it looks something like this, but I couldn't really tell because it was in my socket.
Anyway, meanwhile, Garibaldi is getting cleaned up for the day, and he's basically reliving the experience from when he was abducted. And he gets a message sent to him from an unknown source, and it looks like it's a video of bright colors and flashes and everything else. And
MK Ultra.
Basically, he immediately ends the transmission, deletes it, and heads to Sheridan's office. There, he resigns immediately from being security chief.
Yeah, he's done, and that's where he starts becoming a private eye. He wants to go into something where he can help people, not have to be restricted by orders. He's done with how everything's been going over the last few years. He's done. But I also think it has to do with whatever that message was.
Yeah. So then we are located at the customs area for Babylon 5 with Zach Island training a group of security personnel on how to make sure that they check everyone coming onto the station. And that's when Londo walks through. And just in time for the celebration on station.
I really
remember when this
airport scene, the whole thing about it, I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. What was up with the Elvis impersonators?
That's exactly it, because it was weird. You never know who's going to walk through.
Yeah, you never know. That's the great thing about Babylon 5. As a show, you never did know who was going to walk through. So, didn't they do an episode earlier where no
with a church group?
No, never mind. I've seen so many episodes now. I'm starting to confuse things. Anyway, Zach Allen gets called to Sheridan's office, where Sheridan informs him that of Garibaldi's decision, and that as of right now, Zach Allen is to be made security chief. And again, Zach is still kind of in shock, like everyone else is, and for him, it just doesn't sound right, you know.
Well, it's a big thing to play, right? It came right after that line where he's saying, "That's why I got to get out of here, and I have my own shit to do." And he's just, he's done. He's also was sent also to get Lita at the same time, and Lita's actually starting to redecorate her room now that asshole Kosh is gone. She's actually can actually put more shit than just a bed in there. So we're hoping a whole bunch of '90s tea kettles pops up in the future.
Wow. Well, and also we're starting to see a little bit of, this is, I think, the beginning of Zach and Lita, as far as the storyline with Zach and how he's developed feelings for Lita Alexander.
Well, she can read his mind. She already knows. She's like, I wonder what it's like that when we were talking back when Garibaldi and Talia in the elevator, like, Mr. Gov, I don't want to say it. Like, well, here, just think about what I'm thinking. And then there's my ass, and there's my naked hairy chest. You're gonna, there you go. And block that.
Wasn't it because he kind of felt sorry for her after he saw the way Kosh was treating her?
I think it was more than that.
I think it started out as that, but I think he personally, I mean, stepping outside of all this, in hindsight, I think he really did have feelings for her. But I think circumstances, well, that's too much. So we're going to stop right there. So
he should have
anyway,
a dragon instead of a pizza. He would have got a lot better.
I think the pizza goes a long way, right? Because
Oh,
Yeah, he could have got her one of those Batman calzones.
oh god,
I
let's not
don't
take.
remember if they've had like casual conversations before this episode.
What did they do in the new reboot?
Good.
Like in the reboot, instead of a pizza, it's like one of those calzones from Little Caesars.
Hey Palpatine, how you doing there, brother? Maybe, but like, yeah, we're getting like honestly, it's like I think this, like the way when this war ended, the way this episode's going, it feels like we're starting to see it's like a rebirth and retribution in a way for a lot of characters at because war. But you got to make a lot of sacrifices and come together, especially with the way people have had their odds and ends, and now people are starting to find out that you're not only now alone, separated from Earth, is now you're alone with the rest of the galaxy or the rest of the universe, so to say. So.
And speaking of that, that's where Sheridan and everyone else find out that there has been a new policy enacted that President Clark has decided to
Ric Flair's wife left him. Sorry, he just brought it out of nowhere. Dork Knight, thank you. Go ahead.
Who?
Ric Flair.
Anyway.
What do you mean?
That's probably what she's going to say because she gets half.
Half of what?
Yeah, he's kind of broke.
Either you're broke or not. You know, it's kind of like being dead or pregnant. You know, either you are or you aren't. So.
Oh, I'm definitely not pregnant.
She's probably used that Dark Side of the Ring episode as like evidence in her divorce.
So, hey,
Did
anyone
else
I can't speak to any of that.
Did anyone else notice the whole scene when Jakar comes to see Garibaldi, and Garibaldi has this look of like fear that he's never had before? Right. And I feel like that's not actually Garibaldi's persona. I think whatever that message did to him, it's part of that manifested whatever's been going on when he was gone away. Because you've never seen him afraid of Garibaldi. Yes, I understand you would have maybe some guilt with everything hitting the fan and like him and Jakar being captured. But there was a difference.
It's not Garibaldi. He's just somebody who's posing as Garibaldi, and he doesn't really
like the first time through watching this. It seems like really severe PTSD, like legitimately diagnosable, needs psychiatric help.
There goes memes.
Yay! And then, obviously everything becomes explained, so it's like, oh, kind of a light bulb goes off. But yeah, it's very out of character. You think he would be very grateful and excited to see Jakar and actually embrace him equally and not this awkwardness.
Did he get reprogrammed like Talia?
We don't know yet.
Yeah,
that's why we're not going into like that. I'm good. Keith, you can you use that word before I bring on our next panelist? What's that thing you were doing through season 1, 2, and 3?
Oh, yeah. We're not going to do that quite yet.
He's like the silence.
Yeah. Here we go. Cover your ears. Plug your. Yeah, thank you, Arwen. That one too. Oh, what? Nice kill, bro.
You're welcome. Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Go hot, I turn loose. Beetlejuice.
Now, Stephen. This was a custom piece of mumberry, not actually mumberry, but from my friend B, who may actually be involved in the making of mumberries because she's a bee and buzzes and pollinates and everything. Oh, and congratulations on being pregnant.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm not pregnant. You weren't the father.
Oh, I apologize.
For what, being pregnant?
Monkey based child support.
Oh my God. This stream is brought to you by Celine Dijon Mustard, because I need to change subject.
We're all going to hell.
Well, some of us has got a nice corner apartment, so.
I know the bus driver.
Oh, the same one from Hogwarts. That was a fun ride.
So memes, you made it for the first episode, and was actually able to avoid all of the circle square nonsense and flobies. So you did pretty good.
Oh, I don't know what those are.
You don't want to.
Okay.
Flobby is a
you really don't
paratroopers
wanna-
attached
Yeah,
to it.
this episode, all I know is I'm like, all right, Garibaldi is in like ultra Garibaldi instinct mode right now. Like it's non-stop. It's like, what's going on? It's like, well, maybe Mr. Garibaldi is here. Oh, by the way, this ship, oh, it blows up. Oh, it happens to jettison this one particular thing. How very convenient there. Oh, look, it's Mr. Garibaldi. And it was like you guys were saying. It was kind of like he was in the heightened awareness. Like everything is always. It was like he was Garibaldi within the frame of being Garibaldi, minus kind of some humanity. Like he really kind of just seemed like an instant, like on mode.
Mr. Garibaldi. Sorry,
Garibaldi. His coffin night quite out of the sea. Garibaldi. Hugging Jakar with you and me, Garibaldi.
Or you could read.
What does that sound like in the Navy?
Garibaldi. Yeah. Padawannabe.
The Air Force, right? No, Army.
Padawannabe says, so how will I binge this? Are the storylines episode to episode, or is this going to be like all season at the end at once kind of thing? No, everything is relatable, everything is layered and continues through each episode. You will literally, it just flows right through.
Some people skip season 1. I wouldn't recommend it. Keith would. So take it or leave it.
That's just me. I mean, as I said at the very beginning of all this, how I probably would have done it was you start with season 2, you work your way all the way through the series, and then come back to season 1. But you can start at season 1 and go all the way through. And if you're one of those lucky individuals that has a library that seemingly has a lot of Babylon 5 related stuff, you could even probably see if you can find all of the movies that they ended up making.
Don't they have the movies on Amazon?
That I don't know.
No, I think
See, I requested HBO Max, put them on. They responded to me, and we didn't get the movies on HBO Max. We just got a new reboot of Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
I thank you.
Consolation.
But
I
think they had one film. I think the first one they ended up doing was Third Space. Was the first one. And then in the beginning, as soon as the series ended, and then they went from there.
Then River of Souls.
No, I'm sorry, River of Souls. That's it. Third Space, River of Souls in the beginning.
Yep.
And
Legends. And then they had then they did the those 2 episodes. I can't remember. They were the short stories. The one with the devil.
Oh, whoa! No! Before Legends, it was the Call to Arms. That's it. Call to Arms, which was actually the how we got into the second show, Crusade.
Yep, you're right.
And then and then they went to Legends of the Rangers, and then Babylon 5 Lost Tales.
So speaking of a call to arms, can I just ask one single question? Who's giving whom the Heimlich maneuver in this picture?
Jakar being very happy to see Mr. Garibaldi.
Yeah, he doesn't know human anatomy. He's doing the Heimlich the wrong way. Get him in the front instead of the back.
Whatever.
Archer, Lost Tales, that was the final attempt by J. Michael Straczynski to bring Babylon 5 back. And what it was it's an anthology series where his idea was to figure out a way of bringing Babylon 5 back, but without spending as much money as it would have taken to reunite the entire cast. So what he would do is create different stories that talked about different things, and it could be anything. You could have an episode with about everything that had happened during Babylon 5's first year. or everything that happened after the Babylon 5 story was over, or everything that happened. I mean, different stories taking place in different parts of the Babylon 5 universe. A really good idea that Star Trek could have easily taken advantage of, but like idiot, you know what? I'm going to stop.
They were beautifully done, though. The Lost Tales.
Yes.
They were.
Yeah. It was only 2 stories, but it all worked, and it would have been a really good idea. And JMS wanted fans to watch it. He was telling people online, if you want to see more Babylon 5, you have to watch this show because they needed the ratings.
I never knew it existed.
Not many people tuned in, so you didn't get any more. So,
Pat, I want to be asked now: are these movies like Serenity and BSG weird and sort of fits? No, these are actually made for TV films, pretty much. And
yeah, they were all made for TNT.
They weren't weird at all. They were actually, they fit in really well. Even the River of Souls, which was more like an extended episode. But I can't. Who was the big actor who played the
Martin Sheen.
Yeah. They had it. He was excellent. It was just really.
He
good.
was. It basically it was like another. He was a soul hunter.
Yeah.
Which we were introduced to in the first season, and now he comes back to collect another soul.
Wait a second. I didn't know Babylon 5 was an extension of Skyrim. Because in the Elder Scrolls universe, you can like store souls and gems and power up your weapons. And Steven, I'm a terrible person. I have to leave in 10 minutes.
What the?
I have to prepare. I still need to do my workout. I still need to do 2 workout videos, do a preview for tomorrow, and kind of start putting together most of the. I'm interviewing with 2 physicists in the next 2 days, and I think it's
okay. Well, you're still a jerk.
And I need to read a book.
Need to read that book.
Now you're just lying to me about reading a book.
I read a paper yesterday. It's really weird, like reading. It's okay. The book has like a lot of pictures and equations and stuff.
It hasn't been released as many times as Skyrim. Not yet. No, I have not played the Babylon 5 game. They renamed it. Oh, for fuck's sakes.
The first one that they had, Third Space, was the only movie they made while the show was still in production. So they still had all of the original standing sets, and it was, I think it was the final time that Claudia Christian was actually a part of everything.
Yeah.
Because she left the following season, but Third Space ended up coming out around the 5th season, and it had her in it because they filmed the whole thing, I think, during part of their break from the show. And I thought it was good. It's a scary bit of business in its own way. But I think it's actually a story that I think JMS had in reserve for what he originally wanted to do with the war as a part of the show. And it fulfills the dream that Garibaldi had in the first season, where you saw how everything was going to end. Or I shouldn't say that Garibaldi had. It was the one that Sinclair had, where it looked like the station was going to hell in a handbasket. And that's what Third Space was.
With Zaffis?
No. There's a kind of a time flash, and it's forward into the
Babylon
future.
4, yeah.
And it's actually Babylon 5 that they're on. And,
yeah, but wasn't that the Zaffis episode?
Yeah, that was a Zaffis. That was it. Babylon Squared. And it's Garibaldi and Sinclair are decked out in riot uniforms, and there are invaders coming in from all sides, and they are being overrun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically where the Third Space idea and story came from. It was unused because they couldn't fit it in. They were having to rush to the end of the season because, unfortunately, season 4 was their last season because they were getting canceled, and so they tried to stuff all of the story that they had left into the final few episodes and into one season, basically. And
It's like a turducken.
third, kind of, sort of. There's a lot they stuffed into that next to last season, and unfortunately, it had a bad effect on season 5, in my opinion, because for people that have seen season 5 feels kind of loose, distant. You know, a lot of the it's not as woven together as the first 4 seasons. So the story, it doesn't seem like it has enough story to last the number of episodes they filmed. You know, so some of those episodes kind of are a little.
Well, I mean, season 4, you end up pre-gaming most everything. You drank almost all the booze you had.
Yeah. You're pretty much answering all the questions, and
Yeah. Well, sorry about the dog in the back, but you also lost Ivanova. You gained a new captain. You lost Marcus. Just the stories for so many different people had to be reintroduced. You couldn't do a tight continuation of the story because you had to do backgrounds of these new other people coming in.
Yeah. So I think even JMS would say that season 5 wasn't really idea, but I mean, it wasn't bad. It feels different, not quite disconnected, but it does feel a little different than the first 4 seasons. But it does its job. And when you get to the final 3 episodes,
Sheridan's facial hair.
That's the name of the show. It's not called Sheridan's facial hair.
But when you get to the final 3 episodes, especially the final episode, just get your box of tissues ready and hang on. So
made me want an Entilza uniform.
Oh, it is very well written and very effective even today, just thinking about that final episode. But then, as we had stated in an earlier episode, when you start reading the books and you figure out what happens within the week or 2 after everything in the final episode, yeah, certain character gets theirs, and you're happy to see it. So, anyway, where were we?
So far, we've had Garibaldi and Jakar giving each other the Heilig maneuvers. Bester's arrived on the station. He tries to do a little bit of a mind flop and pretty much lead up bitch slash him back to his own brain, where he literally physically moves back. He wants to have a deal to go to Zaha Doom to see if there's any tech out there for whatever purposes he has as part of his deal. And he fills them in that EarthGov is going to be setting it up based off the plan of 3 different sects that no one knows what's actually going on, which means Black Omega Squadron that he has handpicked is going to wipe out some people. And B5 is going to get blamed. Huh?
There's also a little detail, and yet it plays out really big in a lot of aspects, including the books. There was a regent put in on Centauri Prime. It seems like a little thing, but it actually plays up big.
Okay, yeah, that's right. There's a regent put on Centauri Prime. What else did I miss that I'm trying to catch up?
I still love the part
this is pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah,
go ahead.
I just love it when like Bester's like, I'm gonna be a mind creeping around, and all of a sudden, freaking Lita just gives him a full-on Byakugan. He's like, like, what happened? That's not supposed to happen. That's never happened before. And then he starts to take interest in Lita.
Mm-hmm. And we start seeing go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that scene right there really made me wish that JMS had been able to make the Babylon 5 movie that he originally wanted to make. You know, every time I see something like that, it just, man, to see the telepath war, that would have been amazing.
Well, it's not like we can pay attention to the show or anything, and maybe movies will come.
Yeah, but Patricia, she wouldn't be part of that telepath.
Why? Really? You don't think he would have Miss Tallman back? I would totally invite Miss Tallman and write her into some form of a dragon role.
Why do I think she's trying to slide in naked on a dragon again?
Would you not watch that?
You just made Keith blush.
Yeah, he's like naked on a dragon.
She's looking for Keith's Easter egg in Hawaii.
No, Keith needs to go outside and borrow that hose because it's not too cold to get hosed down. Like the guy in the lawn.
The hose would probably warm him up.
That black dress was nice.
Oh, okay.
I give it 9 1/4.
She does still have it, yes, Sax. But pretty much, and they make the deal. They're going to go to Zaha Doom. So, and the worst part is like they intercept the Black Omega Squadron. It gets annihilated. The people who were attacking, well, they thought we were the enemy. So the propaganda has already been going on, and pretty much they saved their asses. And this episode has another layer that a lot of people, if you don't pick up on it right away, it feeds into the sub-series that they came on later with Crusade. And that is that the allies of the Shadows still exist, and there's still a looming threat of how much of the older ones or the older races technology and how much they have. And as they approach Zaha Doom, something ain't right. Because
they notice that there are several ships leaving Zaha Doom.
You got an entire trail of folks going like, time to hit the old dusty trail. It's like, well, let's go check it out. That might not be a good idea.
Yeah, well, it's definitely the Shadow allies, and they're definitely leaving. And yeah, Sheridan and his instincts are dead on.
Mm-hmm.
And to leave, wow. See, it's another reason why if you don't have Captain John Sheridan as one of your top 3 science fiction captains, you need to re-examine your list.
If there's a battle, you play your Sheridan card.
Mm-hmm.
Keith, you know this.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So
the dude made a baller move in going to Zaha Doom and taking a thermonuclear
thermocomic, dude, that's so beautiful. I'm like, that's totally what I would have wanted to do.
I mean, even John Wick had to go, dude. That was a baller move.
It was. Now memes is going to wait for the Scarum Sheridan edition, where he can just walk around as Sheridan bitch slapping everyone like Chuck Norris.
Oh my God, roundhouse kick.
Oh wow! See, and that's what I think you'll be paying attention to. Memes. You'll probably be paying attention to whoever gets cast as Sheridan for the reboot, and see if they're capable.
We're going from Roadhouse to B5.
Yes, Chekhov is in this as Bester. Yes, he plays a psy cop, a telepathic cop. Yes, he is in this series. Yes,
kind of a scary dude in his own way.
Yep.
He gets to play the biggest asshole ever, and that's exactly what the actor wanted.
You gotta have that dude.
Morden was an asshole too.
Yeah, but they're different.
Totally ripped him off.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? Morden was absorbed into that job. Bester was an asshole from jump one. He wanted to be an asshole. He studied to be an asshole. He made being an asshole something that he would proudly do and not even get paid for it.
To be fair,
he's probably an asshole in his sleep.
Well, to be fair to Bester, his job basically was to be an asshole.
And Koenig did.
He was a great asshole
on many occasions that this was his favorite role, because in Star Trek he was the guy pushing button, Captain. It wasn't anything real serious, and even with the fan films, he was just kind of there as a decoration. He was a real character, and he always said he loved this role, and it paid off because he was the real jerk that he was supposed to be.
He elevates assholery to an art form. Yep,
absolutely.
It was more fun to be the villain.
Hey, I mean, he's like, it's like if J.R. Ewing had telepathic ability.
Well, everybody knew him just as the Russian guy from Star Trek, so he wanted to flex his muscles a little bit.
I ain't a silly Ruski. I am a sociopath with telepathic powers.
But it pretty much goes out with this, and it realizes that we get to see a side of Esther we usually don't see that much. And he's talking to his lover, who's still in cryo freezing, because that's why he wanted to go to Zakha Doom. He wanted to find the tech that can remove the shadow influence without damaging them. And he had to agree not only to Clark's plan, which sacrificed all of his handpicked Black Omegas. He ended up back at square one with nothing. But he also gives a monologue showing that he has an ace up his sleeve of vengeance that no one has seen yet. I'm not going to spoil it, Keith. Don't. Yeah, you're doing the face right now. You're doing it right now. Okay.
He's doing the mustache.
What? Oh, you're doing the mustache. I thought you were doing the Dr. Evil.
The mustache twirl.
Mustache.
He needs a train track and a damsel in distress beside him. It works better.
But that's the thing about Bester is even when he's kind of vulnerable, he can't stop being an asshole.
Yeah.
I think he even dreams an asshole. So
he's like P. Diddy, can't stop, won't stop.
A lot of us do, but all I can say is it a good thing or a great thing that the sheer fact that at least, not to spoil, but at least Mars scenes, let's say, between this and The Expanse, I literally have confuzzled together now. I actually don't remember which is which. I'm like Red Planet stuff and things going on.
Or Total Recall.
Let's not. Oh, maybe. But
and then they messed up. They had like Mars is like a whole red planet.
It's kind of red Tosh. I gotta run out of like 3 minutes.
Okay, so let's give a rating to this episode because this was a good episode. I give it a 9. It was good. What about you, Keith?
Yeah, 9.
9 as well.
9. Kate?
8.
Okay. Memes?
9 1/4 kilt.
And of course, Jeebus?
Like an 8. It was kind of weird to me.
That's okay. I believe you. And before memes, you have to dip out and betray us. What was your rating for the illusion of truth, so we can have it on file?
Which episode was that?
That was the one with the news media
one.
coming to report, and they actually did.
8-7.
8-7. All right, cool. Do you want to say your goodbyes now? Before you go color your books?
Oh, well, all I know is live long, proper, nanu, this, that, and remember, don't leave home without Master Grifter. Don't.
You have to say that nanu thing when you're sitting upside down in your chair.
Oh, I don't know how to do the nanu.
That was Beams of Distraction. Now we're on to the next episode, which of course is the illusion of truth.
It's like the memes got away.
And we already have a news reporter giving his O-face. Sorry about that. Peace out, memes. And this is pretty much one of those. We get these in like a lot of series where we have the news come in and try to get. They are on the pretense of giving the option to tell their story, and they do it very well with the acting. Like they're trying to give it like they're dead on it.
You mean Babylon 5, The Office?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. Babylon Office, yeah, or Office 5, or whatever you want to call it, yeah. And the news reporters play great dicks. Honestly, they're huge dicks. This is like Morden number 2 right here. And the whole thing with Zach and the whole shot thing is like, oh, you should have seen where I was actually aiming. And then it turned out to be a camera. I'm like, and they tried to villainize that. I'm like, dude, you're coming onto a space station. You haven't been scanned yet. There's something going off in the medical readers. Why are you being a dick? Well, because we're news media. Well, you're news media, but technically Babylon 5 has been taken away from EarthGov, so you still have to follow protocol. And that's the whole dickish that we're starting to see with journalism, and that's what released till today. Because everyone knows those journalists on Twitter, air quotes, who are like, well, I stand with this narrative, and I stand with this, and I believe all this, and they block you when you contradict them, and they call themselves journalists, but they've never even done anything more than watch and rewrite the wiki that they use to quote themselves. Go fuck yourselves, journalists. Sorry, got a little off topic right there. Am I wrong?
You okay there?
No.
And I'm looking at the Frost journalist who blocked me because I contradicted his sexism, even though he's a man, air quotes, because he definitely his balls are in his wallet. Fuck that shit. Sorry.
But does he have a punchable face?
He has a very punchable face. I would honestly like, but I'll find his face. I'll do it right now. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, it was like he was trying to say that this only the whole Frost shit back in the day was only because of it is only directed at the men. And I'm like, you do realize that women also objectify and find women attractive. So technically, you're already breaking your own narrative by not including the other half. And it was just weird. I don't know. Take it away while I find this ugly bastard's picture.
Okay. That's all right. The Illusion of Truth. Again, one of those episodes that definitely sticks with you, in so much as that it allows us to see these characters from a different point of view. And in this case, differently, mainly because of how they're portrayed with the news report. And, anyway, this particular episode takes place between April 3rd to the 12th of 2261 and was actually directed by Stephen First.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you know as Vir.
That's cool.
So, basically, we start out with Ivanova and Sheridan.
This douchebag. Sorry, this douchebag right here. This guy, journalist, gaming journalist. Yeah, that's right, Mr. Checkmeyer. That's the douchebag that blocked me because I contradicted him. Then he deleted the tweet, but still blocked me, even though he was wrong.
I have no
There
idea.
you go. Yeah, neither do I. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to get to be journalism.
You feel good? You better now?
I feel as good as this guy looks. Sorry. Back to you, Keith. Sorry.
It looks like he's in the middle of a solo, So
yeah,
I don't know.
Solo with a hand. There you go. He's like, "What'd you say?"
Ouch. Anyway, let's go back to talking about the episode. Wow. Anyway, Ivanova and Sheridan are pondering what to do with the now empty war room. And Sheridan notes that the last time he heard from his dad, basically things are getting kind of serious on Earth, and it looks like his dad may have been caught up in it.
Well, isn't it true that their farm burned down too?
Yeah, things are really getting serious. I mean, it's Clark and his people are basically putting pressure on Sheridan and probably anyone else connected to Babylon 5, if you still have family and or friends on Earth. So,
please welcome Dork Knight, also known as the guy that had to correct himself 8 times in the chat about Kirk and Spock.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I just got home.
Oops.
Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Howdy.
Howdy, hi. Yeah, I've been listening to you the whole time, though. So
I'm sorry. And
so
Archer
please
Collin,
continue.
but quickly, Archer Collin brings up a good point. And the point was, yes, Zaha Doom was destroyed, and it was pretty much because they didn't want anyone else getting the tech, from my understanding. They didn't want anyone else, unless I'm wrong on this, it was destroyed. It blew itself up, leaving no remnant. And so whatever ships did leave, they have whatever is left of Shadow Tech or any of their secrets.
Well, there was also a couple manufacturing places for the Shadows that were off-world.
Yeah.
But the main system was gone. Once the planet was gone, a lot of the functions and different things that they could do became very difficult for the allies of the Shadows. But they could still, access a lot of the stuff that was left over.
Yeah. So we're pretty much in Sheridan's office. The news media is there trying to promise this fake, we'll tell your side, but we'll try to do it sneakily because of how Clark and everything is. And we start getting interviews going throughout the station of what is going on or what imagery they're seeing. And the fucked up shit is that it falls back on how media corrupts, and media will tell one thing by only using a half truth or a half picture. And it's
you mean
even
fake news?
Yeah, fake news. I didn't want to. Yeah, that's true.
Here is if you're ever dealing with the media, make sure you record it all.
Right. Hey, are you guys, is this just on YouTube or is it also on Facebook? Because I don't want to get you in trouble.
I'm not on Facebook.
Perfect.
A little
Go
late
ahead.
for saying that terminology after asking that, right? Are you talking about Captain Pipe over there? No, you're fine. I don't care.
Thank you.
It's tobacco.
Tobacco.
Yeah.
So pretty much, we have the customs, we have the ISN reporters, also known as the bullshitters. That's what we call them. And then we see Franklin and Sheridan talking about the logistics in MedLab, that the telepaths that have been altered, they need to be constantly attended to because the cryogenic tubes do need maintenance because the people inside them who have been altered by the shadows are very unstable. They don't know how to handle them just yet. They're literally like what, thinking torpedoes in a way, right? Because I think one of them that was affected in a previous episode was the one that like started attaching itself to all the machinery, and when it saw the
Buster's, the woman he loves, whatever.
Yep.
Low spec, how you doing? Yeah. Dog agrees. News sucks. Sheridan agrees with his proposal and then leaves to visit ISN, which we're getting to this point right here. And he passes off the whole having ISN and the reporters walk around with Lennier, because Lennier is pretty much the most down to earth. They don't lie, air quotes, because we know a couple episodes there's been like that, and pretty much he's going around saying the honest truth. And we're thinking this reporter's just going along and believing it.
But you skipped the best part. It's when Sheridan and Ivanova have their study back and forth with him about what to do with him, really.
Yeah,
It's
it's finally there's someone here that can talk to me with respect. I'm like, she threatened to genocide me out of the airlock. Commander, did you threaten to genocide him out of the command, out of the airlock? You know we're short on resources. I told you to strip him naked so we could keep the clothes, then jettison him from the airlock.
They're so good. They're just so funny together.
I like that one part too that you reminded. It's like, we have an open door policy here, and she goes, and an open airlock policy.
Even then she's like, I stepped over too far, and she's like, sorry. I loved it, but I loved it. Yeah. I'm like how that wasn't in the news report of like they threatened our lives and
right. So I it's because his cameras were confiscated at this point. It was just him, and probably on purpose. But then I end up having a problem with like, okay, so why weren't you this strict the whole time?
Yeah.
I think, but he explained everything that they could only sneak in the truth. So the only truth they could sneak in was the footage. All the wording was lies, but what you saw was real. What like the footage that they could show you was real, but the context they were giving was false.
Yeah, that could be like the deliberate.
So if people are watching, they can see that if they saw somebody was alive or the condition that they were actually in.
It wasn't just that. They were literally filming the whole time, but they were also, when we get to the like later on when they're doing their broadcast, they show clips and audio excerpts that has nothing to do with everything. Everything Lennier has done has been bad because Lennier's been truthful. Yes, but there are people that are insufficient. Yes, there's been job programs. They don't mention any of that. They're literally saying, well, all of the alien ambassadors and the higher ups get all their bedrooms, and that's it. Everyone else is suffering, fighting for medical, fighting for food. It is a wasteland. It's literally
it's Clark propaganda.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. But
have we gotten to the part where he resigns? I mean,
that was last episode.
Oh shit! I was late. I'm sorry.
Why are you apologizing? It's okay.
Hey, since I already derailed you, a friend of mine, I don't know if you noticed, I muted and answered the phone. A friend of mine felt the need to tell me I was both right and wrong. He said at the end of City on the Edge of Forever, Kirk tries to save her, but Spock yells at him and he stops. And then McCoy goes to save her and Kirk turns around and stops McCoy. And I was like, thanks, man. You know I'm live. He's like, yeah, I'm watching you. I was like, all right, cool, thanks.
Hi, Mom.
It's my buddy Eric, actually, but that's fine.
Hi, Eric. Hi. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell.
Yes, indeed.
No.
I already got my mom to do it, so.
Oh, hi, Mom. Not my mom, the other mom. Sorry. I'm trying to get him to stop drinking. It's all good. No, I'm kidding.
Have you been talking to my mother?
No, I heard you guys freaking out in the last show we did over how sexy Henry Cavill is or something. Okay. See, look, even your phone agrees. You just got a text message from your buddy.
Okay, back to the which episode? I thought you said
this is the Illusion of Truth. We're CNN.
Okay.
Yeah, CNN.
Okay.
Sorry, I keep saying CNN
Sorry.
propaganda. The
ISN, isn't it ISN?
No, it's CNN. It's just in space. And there she is. Hey, Cecilia, how you doing? There you go.
Hey, yeah, that's my girl, guys. Everybody say hi.
Yeah. Don't worry, he's behaving sort of. He's just an episode too late. But getting back to that, like we see Garibaldi's now started his new like finding stuff kind of career. It really calls out all of them about the whole the statue and how he hides all the valuables. He wants a cut of it. He's like I'm done with the fucking Babylon 5 rules. I want to cut whatever the hell you put in that statue, and I won't tell that other race we're even poking holes in their religious deities. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, he's going down. He's going down. You're now grounded.
Me? I'm muting my phone. I'm muting it right
now. I'm
now.
just saying you're grounded because that's what the text message says. You're grounded.
Probably.
Yeah. So as the man leaves, all that stuff is going on. It's pretty much the Drazi religions, right? And the poke holes in the statue and all like that. Lennier shows up and he's pretty much like he's trying to figure out why he's done what he's done. He pretty much Garibaldi doesn't even want the name of Sheridan mentioned, and then Sheridan shows up. By that time, they see each other. Lennier has been asked to show Randall, which is the news reporter we saw earlier, around the station, answer any questions, and pretty much give him the tour of what's going on. Because in all honesty, Lennier's pretty much the best person to do it. If it was Marcus, Marcus would have just hit him with the staff already. I'm not wrong.
No.
Sheridan, sadly, I share a first name with Randall, so there's that.
No.
Randall was the name of the snitch on Recess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but his first name wasn't Dan, so I can live with that.
Yeah. Pretty much. And when Sheridan turns to Garibaldi and then he just leaves, doesn't say a word, and Garibaldi has no one of those flashbacks of when he was abducted. And we get those scenes. Those scenes are still haunting him. I guess it's his form of psychic PTSD. So
good, though. So good. I love that dude that plays Garibaldi. I've said that last week. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Bruce Willis light.
They need to cast Bruce Willis as him in the reboot.
Yeah, they did.
They'll have to put Bruce Willis on a soapbox to make him tall enough.
That's okay. You know, the story with Bruce Willis is he gets paid like $1 million or $2 million to come in for a day or two to do his stuff, and anything else that they fill in, they do over the head of a stunt double. It's crazy.
Brandon Jones just tagged me on Twitter.
That's how come he's in all those movies, like those B movies.
Yeah, that's how he does all those B movies, because he's literally only on set for a couple days, and then like he refuses to do. Like, have you seen that crazy deep fake Japanese commercial with him in it?
Nah,
no.
He some Japanese company shot a commercial, and then Bruce Willis didn't even have to show up for this. They approached Bruce Willis, asked if they could pay to deep fake him on this dude's face in the commercial, and he said yes. So Bruce Willis is in it. I'll have to find the link and put it in the private chat. It's freaking insane, and it's like,
at least they asked for permission, I suppose.
Well, yeah,
he's trying to beat Marlon Brando as the laziest actor.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, I keep derailing you guys.
Don't apologize. You're good. Daggett, do you have anything to add? Because you've been pretty quiet, and I don't want to take away from anyone else who has something to contribute any parts of this. This goes to everyone here, because Keith has like disappeared. I don't know where he went.
I'm quiet.
Maybe he's Batman.
I've got a noisy dog here that's going bananas. So,
and I'd just like to say the motto for Circle Square was "No one is as special as you." Yikes.
Yeah, one of these days I had to pick or take apart that picture that you showed so you could see all the symbolism that was there. Very bad stuff, but that's just me. Maybe I'm paranoid.
First, last,
I'm
best.
back.
Hey Keith, how you doing? But yeah, we see him. Like, he doesn't like look at Sheridan. Sheridan looks pissed. He's like, I don't even want to talk to Mr. Morden #2. I don't want to deal with him. And there was the other line that I totally forgot. We should have done even before. Okay, you were talking about the whole airlock. He's like, there's something. I thought we were done with the war, but there's something a lot worse than the shadows, reporters. And that's when it was. Yeah, it was like, well, yeah.
And this isn't entirely the first time they've had this encounter with the media, if you will. This is just the first time you've actually seen it in action, I suppose.
Well, the first time since Clark has taken over.
Yeah.
Because if you remember what everything was like.
Yeah, I mean, it's still media, and they still were really shady prior to the Clark takeover. And then in the midst of the takeover, we got some snippets from them on what was going on. And the dude does say, like, well, some of us left immediately, and some of us stayed to try and make it better, and blah, blah, and do what we can. And, you take that with a grain of salt. So.
They should have learned their lesson. They knew Clark was coming for them. And they had Bester, and then the next few days, here comes a news agency. That was very poor judgment on their behalf to ever trust media.
And I love this thing because Londo is already back and he's already complaining. And it's like going back to the whole thing. There is a bug in my apartment. I would like you to kill it before it reaches its own certain of awareness and intelligence. It's evolving and now has 18 legs.
How do you quote him and not at least try the interpretation? Or the impression. It's easy if you just got to get loud. It's almost like
you gotta get loud. I can't do it. No.
Garibaldi. It's like because he's always so over the top. You know what I mean?
He's got George Tsoukalis' dad.
Okay.
Is it a made-up accent, or is he base it off of something?
I have no. That's a great question.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Because Delenn has her natural accent. The woman who plays her suppresses it a little, but she has her natural accent.
Man, I'm so glad they changed her prosthetics after the first episode.
Yeah, it's made up, obviously, but I'm just curious what it's inspired by, because it's something.
Right? No, as an actor, he's drawing from something. They can't come up with anything on their own. They make believe for a living, so they steal from everybody else, or not steal.
I used to know, and it was supposed to be similar to, but he deliberately altered it. I thought it was German. It may have been Italian. I know it's one of those two. I know they're two totally different things, but he's
kind of like Watto
and then altered it so it would be unique. And then subsequent episodes, you ran into his buddy that he had to kill. Everyone tried to mimic that same thing, that same accent, but it's his own invention.
Oh, when they were singing?
Right. Well, not just that, but there was a lot of different things, but he was the one who came up with it.
There is, and the best part about this one, maybe Bulgarian, Aiken says, but the best part about that was this whole scene is like when I brought the bug up in his apartment was the fact he's like, it is cold, not just any cold. My foot would break off. And then he just turns around to Londo. He's like, Mr. Londo, if it was any colder that any other part of your body would break off, I would be happy to do so. And it was just that whole thing. It's like, I'm glad the relationship hasn't changed. And he has that, and Sheridan has got that smirk. You're like, all right, every planet has a south side. Okay, Terry. Is that true? Somewhere out there, there's a Centauri Prime country that just goes, y'all! Really loudly.
That was the continent of Selene that they blew up.
Oh, damn. And that's the one. This is the scene that bothers me the most. Eventually, they start to interview. Like, they talked about the ships and the repairs and everything else. And they start interviewing John and Delenn, and they're talking about the marriage and the way they delivered it afterwards was such a fucking slap in the face. Marriage is supposed to be something that's supposed to be celebrated depending on how you look at it or whether or not you believe in marriage and it's a good thing or bad thing. And it's like, no, we've done something great. We've done something great here. We're not gonna let anyone take it away. And they just twisted it. And you can hear it when they're talking, like if you haven't seen this, you can already feel how news is going to re-represent that shit. And you just start adding it to a scorecard of like, yikes, you shouldn't have done that. Yikes, you shouldn't have said that. But it's in the moment, and you're not just an ambassador, you're also trying to show a neutral side of what Babylon 5 stands for. And it never matters how much you say what you mean or how you feel. It's the other side's interpretation and how they deliver it that will either make or destroy whatever you're trying to build or deconstruct. And that is one of those things that with news that bothers the shit out of me. Even in this show, anyone else? Because I sound like a rampaging nerf herder.
No, I mean, I just felt like, especially because the time period that it came out, it's kind of an allegory for interracial relationships, is kind of how I took Sheridan's explanation to Randall in that scene, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I appreciated it. It reminded me of, like, that's why I fucking love JMS, man. Like, he's such a good writer, and that's what I loved about the original series of Star Trek. Like, they had to do so much with allegory, kind of like the Bible. Sorry, but to tell stories that they would speak on contemporary, modern day taboo issues, but they set it in the future, in space, and a galaxy far, far away. So, like, people, because sadly most of us are stupid in America, people didn't get it. You know what I mean? And they just found it entertaining. Do you guys follow what I'm saying? I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah. And it's one of the things that they're missing with Kurtzman Trek. So.
Yeah, Kurtzman Trek is the opposite. It's preaching propaganda. You know what I mean?
Well, Babylon 5 was like relatively close to Earth. It wasn't that far.
Yeah, but it's still, there's aliens. Like, it's not like, see, they're both okay. So I know I'm white, so whatever.
Holy shit, you're white.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. I try to come off, like racially ambiguous. The thing is that even though, like, Delenn's an alien and Sheridan's a human, they're both fucking white. You know what I mean? So, like, they can they get a pass because it's science fiction, so they can get away with it. Just, you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Would you agree? Disagree?
Mm-hmm.
Keith?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I agree.
I too much weed, man. I don't know. Shit. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you think you smoke too much weed? I gotta break this right now. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this before. Hold on a second. Rihanna, I believe, has just come out with new lingerie ideas for men. You guys ready?
That's gross.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, your man can look just as sexy as whatever the fuck that is with the harness. And
see,
Really Estevez already did the crop top. What the fuck?
It's like if you're a man and questioning yourself, I guess.
So, yeah, I mean, like, here's my thing.
Hey,
here's what I'd recommend, at least for my body type. The dude on the right, that thing right above his nipples goes all the way down to his waist, and then you lose everything else, because I'm proud of what I got below the waist, but above it, shit, man. I gotta fuck that. It's like, because I lost, like, here's the thing. Like, I used to weigh 400 pounds, guys. I had a heart attack in 2016. And when you lose 200 pounds, like, in a year, and you don't have the money to get the surgery, it's the
same. Well, I am not wearing. I'm sorry.
I'm not wearing either of that either. I was giving some recommendations.
See, no one finds this sexy for the lingerie. Like,
no.
So
no.
Did it dawn on you that perhaps she's appealing to her gay audience?
That could work too, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
okay.
like,
I see that, but
isn't that the obvious thing to think?
Maybe, but both of them, those things should be, I mean, I'm not trying to be vulgar or perverted or whatever, but I am, so I will. It's like they should both have, like, crotch cutouts or no crotch part.
Well,
like, the guy in the straps should just be in just the straps. And
Okay.
the guy that, the
Sure,
guy in the top,
but it's an advertisement, and that doesn't mean it's not that way, and the picture's cropped specifically.
I see.
So,
okay.
yeah, it's probably a very specific audience she knows she has, and that's what they're doing.
I would love Cece's comments if she's still watching. What do you think, babe? You want me to don one of those for you?
I'm sorry. I get where you're saying, Kate, too. I get it could be for that group of marketing as well, but I just wanted to. I saw the men and saw plurals. That my wolf Mount Elysium says my wife would taser me if I showed up in that.
Is it just me or does Delenn look like the way she's looking at us right now, she's judging all of us for that conversation we just had? That's how it feels.
I don't think Delenn has a problem with the gays.
Look
That's
at those
ridiculous.
eyes. No, not the gays, the lingerie, whether it's gay or straight, she's like, you stop talking about me to talk about that ugly lingerie,
Yes.
The Mari lady would poke him with a pair of needles.
Okay, back to Babylon 5 now, because all I'm picturing is memeing Drunk's face on one of those pictures just for a hell of a joke, and I know you'd kill me.
Oh, dude.
Dude,
meme God. You should do that.
No, I know. No, I would like.
You
to
know
be
what? I'm a
friends with
good
people
sport.
at
I
the
can
end
laugh at myself. You can put my face on one if you really want to make one.
Thank you. Thank you. Then your wife will come after me. Memes already came, Lewis. You missed him. He had to leave early. He had to go early. But back to this. We're now getting
You should
interviewed.
put drunk and memes on their heads.
You do it. You get in trouble.
Okay.
And we're getting. I don't know. Who's anything about being afraid? I just don't have the time for it right now. Okay, Keith, get me back on track, please. I need to reset quickly. I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Okay. Well, let's see. We are at where Randall is interviewing. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. We have Randall resumes next segment of the B5 story. The video is played with completely intentionally misrepresenting dialogue on top. He turns to the question of why a renegade like Sheridan would do what he did. He turns to a live conversation. The psychologist, who notes a probable cause as an inferiority complex suffered by veterans of the Battle of the Line. Randall then implies this to be a larger conspiracy, cutting to when Franklin got called on the cryogenic chambers. Okay, this kind of thing that they're doing here will be repeated again in season 5. This type of way of doing things, especially when it comes to talking about history.
Are they rewriting war criminals like they were to like those murderers? Like, remember how like the psychics would rewrite, like they would give a new identity to like a murderer or something, a criminal.
Oh, you mean after World War II when they were smuggling out a lot of the Nazis and?
No, he's referring to the show where they reprogram people who were
violent murderers.
Violent criminals, and to reintegrate them into society in a controlled environment. I forget the name of the episode.
Yeah, that's the Demolition Man was the movie.
Yeah. That too, but it is a specific episode. He's referring to the one with the roses. Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like are they doing that to people that they deem criminals to them?
Yeah. So
not just like the upper tier, right, of criminal, right? Like the violent
like
criminals.
That
not
one
like
guy that was confessing right now. Are they going to do that to him?
Right. Exactly. I know exactly what you mean. That's a great question. I don't think they ever even allude to it though. Yeah, they probably do. That's so creepy.
That's why I love these conversations. You talk about these movies you haven't seen in forever. Maybe in your guys' case, you saw them a long time ago and then you watched them again. And we're all talking about it and still learning new shit. It's cool. It's great, man. I love it.
And I hate jumping subjects. I know people have things to do, but this just came across my feed again. And like this, that YouTube is now doing this, supposedly. YouTube is now censoring live streams of the Canadian trucker protests for being too popular.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Talk about free speech. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't adhere. Here's the thing, because people say that a lot, and I know you're Canadian, so the way the law works here in America, which sucks, is that corporations do not have to adhere to the Constitution or free speech rules because they're a private entity, and they pretty much do whatever the fuck they want as long as they're not breaking the law. And because it's not America that's censoring the public, it's a private company that's censoring a public, they can get away with it. So that's why things like Getter have come up. Yeah.
Okay. Just the government can't message.
However, they also can be sued. John
Yes,
Stossel
they
was
can.
fixing
So a
things,
class action
and
lawsuit needs to be filed against these fuckers for
yeah.
everybody, not just that guy, but he could spearhead it. All he has to do, and I can introduce him to a lawyer, is just hire the right lawyer. He won't charge him a fucking dime. He'll use the celebrity as the thing to boost it. He'll start, you see those ads, you've seen them today on TV. Have you or your family members ever suffered from mesothelioma? Or like call this number.
He's like Stephen P. New.
Yeah, you know, and then it'll end this shit because YouTube will have
Okay.
to settle a probably
We're
$1
off
billion
subject.
settlement.
We're really off subject. I just
Sorry,
wanted to show that
sorry.
quickly. Like, and we had it. If you saw the private chat, Adega, have a good one. He doesn't want to talk about it. I didn't mean to
Sorry,
do that.
sorry,
It's
sorry,
okay.
sorry.
Like literally, I'm trying to cut it quick, but not trying to be rude. I was only bringing it up so people can look at it. The article was in the chat. I just want to say this is what's going on. That's it. I'm sorry, Adega. I didn't mean to drive you off into that stuff as well.
It's my bad.
No. I just wanted to end it because I don't want it. Like I don't want my channel put in jeopardy. Yes, and I'm being that fucking card.
Okay, no, fair enough.
I say that to anyone who thinks I'm being overly unrational.
I was
This is
talking
my
about
job.
an episode of the Black Mirror. I don't know. What
It's
you're
okay.
talking
It's
about.
all good. It's all good now. I'm just saying, Adega. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week. I was just trying to cut it short. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't. Sorry. I do apologize. That was my fault for bringing it up. That I will take responsibility for that, but I'm going to cut it short as well and end it there. And if anyone thinks any less of that, so be it. Leave it in a comment. I don't care. This is against the panel. I just don't want because yeah. But other than that, life sucks. This episode pretty much it gives an exemplary reason of why mainstream media is being and is hated for what it is.
And it did it what 30 like when the 24-hour news cycle just started, like close to 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Like this writing. This is what I love about JMS, man. His writing was so ahead of his time, and that's why he's like, you know, cream always rises to the top. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, he was. Look, the thing, as I've stated before about the writing staff for this show, was that they would not only look at where they were currently, they would take a lot of examples from history. So this type of thing has been consistently done throughout history. So
Yeah,
really,
because-
it's all about taking examples from the past and just sort of finding a way of keeping it within the story that you're trying to tell, but also teaching audiences, or at least expressing to audiences, how easy this is and has been done a lot, not just here in the United States, but in other countries. So.
Yeah,
I don't want to get outspoken on that either. Sorry. So
it's all right.
That's all right.
No, it's all right. It was me bringing up the Canadian thing. I fucked up, so I'm going to own that shit. But I didn't want to cause any hassle. So my bad for giving the pretense that it was going down a line. But I get what you're saying. But ISN pretty much took all of what they've learned and saw, and they warped the truth to the point where they made him look like a radical. He's suffering from a type of Membari war disease. They clipped and redid audio in such a way that made him look like they were making an army to attack Earth, and they were really
Spinning that
propagating
shit.
whole fucking President Clark's bullshit to begin with.
Well, that's all Clark has left.
Yeah.
Again, his allies are gone.
Yeah.
Whatever advantages he thought he had being with the Shadows, basically to have been a fly on the wall the moment he found out that the Shadows were gone, that would have been something to see.
You know, I don't. I'm gonna be controversial one more time, but you know what? Actually, I won't use the name, but I think we should start calling J. Michael Straczynski a freaking like Nostradamus, because if you look at a lot of the stuff he wrote in Babylon 5, even though it takes like, you know, whatever, it's like way in the future, like this character reminds me of a certain former president I will not name, and it blows my mind because of the way like certain news stations, because you guys are making the CNN joke, I'd make the Fox joke, because it's all propaganda. It's all they're pumping out in this. I'm pretty sure I remember correctly. This is the episode with the good-looking guy who had my name and was the slick news reporter who kept spinning everything, and it felt very, not at the time, because I don't even know if Fox News was a thing at the time, but like looking back on it now, I literally just had this thought while you were talking, that it felt like that to me. Do you guys see that correlation, or should I just shut the fuck
No, you get
No,
don't feel bad. No, don't feel bad. But like what I do earlier, like honestly, yeah, you're making sense because it literally is showing how much mainstream news is a generalization. Is people are glued to those stations 24 hours a day and believe everything that comes out of there, even if only there's a half truth. They believe the whole fucking sentence. I haven't turned on my TV even to watch news or weather in over a year and a half, almost 2 years. And you know what I've learned from that? I might be cut off from the real world of what's going on, but I don't fucking miss it. Because their idea of real world is not the actual real world because it's not from a news reporter's perspective.
Exactly. And like I am proud to say, I know this sounds like a pissant comparison, but I've been off of Facebook for over a year, and I've been off Instagram for over a year. But the only reason I'm back on Instagram, which is a little bit different, is because Salty Nerd kind of made me. But I'm not gonna get up. My life has been infinitely better since not being on Facebook. And to your news thing, I haven't had cable or satellite or watched local news in like 12 years. You know, like, and I feel better for it. I read the trusted news sources that I like. I consume the media that I like. I engage in healthy debates with friends who don't fuck you, man, die or unfriend me. Like Salty Nerd's a perfect example of that. Because like I'm more of an upbeat, hey man, stoner kind of the kumbaya kind of guy, and you know they're called the Salty Nerds for a reason. You know what I mean? So like we often disagree. They like they love to shit on stuff, and I'm like Kevin Smith. I love to see hey man, it's like it's better than 2 hours in the back of a Volkswagen. You know what I mean? So you feel me?
Hey, unwritten rules of the road. Yeah, I get
it. So yeah.
Again, that's leave it really to nerd culture to show that it's a lot more intelligent than the general public gives it any real credit for.
But it's a specific niche.
Shit on us. That's why.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. What'd you say?
Chuck Lorre shit on us with Big Bang Theory. Everybody thinks that we're just a bunch of hipsters.
Don't even get me started because like the comments that will come out of my mouth will get me in a lot of trouble because I have a huge problem with that show.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one way back when that had a problem with the Big Bang Theory, dude. To find other people that felt the same way I did,
My best friend on earth since 6th grade, when I first moved out to Vegas, this was like 2009 or 10, was all about Big Bang Theory. And I never heard of it because I think I've probably been off of more than 10 years because like I really did just completely, just did internet stuff for the longest time because that's also my business. And it just made more sense. It's like way cheaper. Why pay for fucking cable or telephone or any of that stuff when I got the internet? And one of the terrible side effects of being a stoner is I totally forgot where I was going with that. So,
hot kales.
Oh, you were about to write me that check for $200,000.
There you go. Just DM me later, and we'll get back to that.
Okay.
And it's certainly right.
You were about to buy me that PS5. I keep talking about. So I'll talking about the PS5.
I'll just mail you the one over there. That's fine.
Oh, you have one? Okay, mail it over here. Yeah,
all right. Anyway.
I'll take the digital. Yeah, well, I'll pay you in live stream minutes because.
You know what's going to piss me off is I'm going to go back and watch this later, and then it's going to bug the shit out of me that I don't remember what my point was because I'll remember it when I watch it.
He'll put it in the comments, then he'll correct his comment because he screwed up. It wasn't about credit. He'll do it again.
Yeah. Wow, you guys know me all too well. And this is only like our 5th, 6th. Shit, actually.
Please don't say date. That's really awkward.
Okay, sorry.
Kate, do you have anything to add?
I'm really glad I met you, Keith and Steven, man. You guys are great. It's been fun.
You.
Across the 2 shows.
I have my moment.
So. Do you have anything to add, Kate, at all?
It's all same as it ever was. It's just that's what governments do. They always have. They always will. Implying otherwise is foolish.
Yeah. So it's pretty much
I just find it annoying. I find all the news themed episodes annoying. But I've
why?
Been well aware of things for 20 plus years and have a lot of friends who work in alternative outlets and are very successful and professional. So
Kate, if you don't mind me asking, because I'm I'm an old man, and you never ask a woman her age. So I got to see this, in real time. Are you annoyed because you saw it like? And I'm just assuming because you've looked way younger than me that you saw this later. So like themes that were prevalent in the '90s, and you're watching it for the first time in like 2000 whatever. Is that why it annoys you? Because like you're saying, like the shit they were writing about then is still like an issue now, or is it something else?
I have no idea what you mean at all.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Well, so like when does nobody else get what I'm saying? Help translate me.
You're just talking in circles, perhaps, or I just don't. You can't be.
So when did you start? When did you start watching Babylon? Like when did you see Babylon 5? Like in what year?
This is my first time. This last year.
Oh, this is your first time. Okay, so
yeah. So it has my perspective has nothing to do with the show. What I'm saying is, when I say governments, I mean like as an entity throughout human history.
Right, and you're saying it never changed. I think we're saying the same thing. Yeah,
okay.
You're saying it just never changes. Like even though this was like they wrote about this shit in the '90s, I'm watching it now in like the 20s, and that's 30 years, and it's still the same shit. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not. I mean like
that's governments in general.
Thousands of years in general. As a human being,
I get you.
30 years.
Way longer than 30 years. I was just putting it in the span of our lifetimes is all I was doing. But yes. So, okay. Sorry.
So in other words, everyone can pretty much agree that we really much don't like this episode, or especially the way they pretty much nailed how news media is. Kate, you don't like it because you don't like these portrayals because it's been like this for God knows how fucking long when it comes to governmental institutions. Whether they say they're public broadcasting or not, there's always the same end of the day. Good to have a narrative that always fits the government agendas, no matter what. Am I right on this?
Yeah, pretty much, sir.
Shane Nolan pretty much says talking heads, yes, but except talking,
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I do this. It's from the music video. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. That's because my mom's a dork, and she's like, has always done that too.
This guy always has one facial expression. Do you notice how his lips are always pierced the same?
She's
you mean punchable to mildly punchable to constipated?
He's always passing a fart. He's like, this one's gonna be a big one. Like I think though I'll ask this too. Do you think the intention of this whole episode the way it was delivered was perfectly enough to still keep you pissed off at the fact that shit is just the way it is, and they nailed it perfectly with the delivery?
They do it very well each time.
Okay.
I think this was to give a certain perspective on characters that you never really get with shows like this, and having characters that are doing all of this incredible stuff. You never got a perspective like this with Star Trek. You never got a chance to see how the media would treat someone like a Captain Kirk. Their view from, when you think about all the episodes of Star Trek and all the things that the Enterprise crew have done and been a part of, you never really think about the media's reaction to a lot of that stuff. Like the M5 incident, which resulted in the destruction of several starships. You never think about time travel. When the Enterprise accidentally went back in time, or in another case where they actually did it on purpose. And I'm just talking about the original series, not even talking about any of the movies. But when you look back at all that stuff, and I think JMS, being a Star Trek fan himself, I think this was his opportunity to do something a little bit different, which is to take these characters that have done these amazing things. And again, as an audience, we've seen them do something really amazing, and you're putting a media spin on it.
Or didn't Kirk lose rank because of that?
Well, you're talking the movies. Movies. On the series, not so much. He got a desk job.
Yeah, there were a couple of. You don't even have to look at Star Trek 4 for there's several time travel episodes in the original series. Tons of them. But I did want to say, like, to answer the question, if I may, that he posed earlier by Stephen was, this did piss me off more. However, because it was a blatant, as growing up in that time frame, and I've always felt this way. CNN was like in this period in time. I honestly don't even know if Fox News was a thing, but CNN definitely was, and CNN was like the first 24/7 news network. Kids, millennials, Zers, wokesters, whatever. Back in my day, there were 4 news stations, and that was it. And they were not 24/7. You know what I mean? So like they had to fill all this stuff, and it basically turned into American propaganda news. Really, is what it was. And then it started getting money started getting involved, and the news started getting controlled by that money. And that was something that always bothered the shit out of me, because in the 90s I was going into my early 20s, mid 20s, and this 24/7 news, I thought it was a brilliant commentary on the 24/7 news cycle. I really did. I actually liked the episode a lot, even though it pisses me off more than any other episode, because I really love the commentary on the 20, because it was new in that day. Do what?
Anchorman 2 did it best.
Yeah. Well, that was several years later, like a decade later. But yeah.
Milk was a bad choice. Yeah, we can. I'm going to quickly speak on behalf of Adega and Memes. Memes was an 8.7 for this episode. Adega was an 8. Other than that, I give it a 7.5, but 9, including my rage, because I can relate so much to how much I want to punch every news broadcast I see.
You want to headbutt the camera?
No, I don't want to headbutt. No, I don't want to headbutt the camera.
Yes,
The camera's-
yes. You forgot, that's the best part.
Fuck it. I'll do it live.
Yes. No, when Lennier headbutts the camera, it's like,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's all good. I like that. So that's for me. Keith, what do you give it?
You know what? I give this an 8, 8.5.
Okay. And Kate, with headbutting included?
Like the actuality of this episode is enjoyable, and then everything else is just like gut wrenching, and I try not to vomit. And the next incarnation of this, makes me even more visceral. So 7-ish, just because like the couple parts that are good, they're very good, but then it's not enough to make it up for it.
Good one. G-Biz?
I give it a 7. It was just like kind of like an Easter egg show almost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And prophetic. Well, and of course, Dork Knight. Don't worry. It's okay. You can still talk. It's okay.
Huh?
Look at the camera. Look at the camera. There you go. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm so fucking with you right now.
I paid for this light ring, and I didn't have it on the whole time because I was in a rush when I got here. Anyway, so in all transparency, I literally haven't seen this episode in a very long time. I rewatch them, but it's probably been like 5 to 10 years. But to give you some background on me, I was the 1997 policy debate champion in the state of North Carolina. I was huge into politics. I did extemporaneous speaking. So I was a history major in college. This is my nerd shit. You know what I mean? And so because of that, when you guys started talking about the episode, this is sadly one of my favorite episodes because it infuriated me so much. And the thing with me with entertainment is if it can sear its way into my brain, especially my cloudy ass stoner brain, and I can remember shit, like you start saying 2 or 3 things and I can remember the entire freaking episode clearly. I don't want to give it a 10 because it's not as good as the last episode I gave a 10 to, but I'll give it a 9. But I also haven't seen it in a long time. So, it might be one of those things where I thought Care Bears was awesome when I was 5. I rewatch it now. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I don't know. So
you don't shoot beams out of their bellies. Is that heartburn? What's going on? BSG had a really interesting take with the press. So as so many journalists were on the Galactica, they made up a high percentage of humanity, so it seemed much more invasive.
You know what? That's just the mark of some good writing.
Yeah.
Exactly. When a show can do that to you. And again, it with JMS, Harlan Ellison and all the writers they had. I mean, you know,
I got one of his
they
books
just-
over here.
Harlan Ellison.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody needs to read some Harlan Ellison, or at least
Dude.
check out some of his interviews. I mean, he was a character and a half.
So I used to well, I guess they're still my client. So Cosmic Comics, ironically, whose shirt I'm wearing, and this is not on purpose, I swear. I bought a book there, probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, and it was called, City on the Edge of Forever. And I just thought it was going to be I thought it was just because it was a hardcover. I thought it was just a sexy adaptation of the Star Trek series or episode that I love, and it was a totally different story. And now I'm thinking back to chat. I bet you that's the original script story that he was talking about. I kind of want to grab it and show you guys. It's got a green cover with like an orange sun and the Starship Enterprise over it.
Yeah. That's his version of it. Again, it's
probably why I was confused.
The thing about that, I think, as I've said before, there's a book called Inside Star Trek. And out of all of the books written about Star Trek as a television program and how it was made, that's the one that I attribute more to giving you more of an honest and straightforward look at what it took to actually make that series. And Harlan Ellison comes off as someone who, at least back then, was a guy that was easily distracted. Network television is not something that is easy if you're used to just sitting in a room and writing stories and
He was a
writing
George
books.
R. R. Martin.
Well, the thing about George R. R. Martin is he had experience with TV. He knew what it took to make a television program. So a lot of the stuff that went into making Game of Thrones, I, myself, never believed half the stuff that I was hearing from him. And I was even saying back then,
That's not my bag, baby. That's not my bag.
I was saying even then, and I think the only other person that was actually saying the same thing was Gary at Neurotic, was that there was a very good chance that this guy was not going to finish all those books. The problems with that television show are multiple, but going back to Star Trek and how this fits in with Babylon 5 is through Harlan Ellison, is that the guy got distracted a lot. And so it took him longer to write that one episode than the normal person that was working on the show. It took him months.
I feel like I can relate to that easily distracted thing. Sorry.
Well, he kept leaving. He kept wandering all over the lot, going different places instead of, they literally had to lock him into the room to finish the episode. And then you add that to why he got mad later on, was because what he ended up writing didn't exactly match how they were doing the show. I mean, you got a guy who's an author who was a fan of the show. He submits his first draft for this, and spoiler alert, in his version of original version of The City on the Edge of Forever, he ends up killing McCoy. And Roddenberry's like, hey, look, this is a cool idea, but we can't do that. We're not going to kill off McCoy, and he got upset about it. And it was just like, Roddenberry's like, look, I get it. You wrote a story, but this is my show. Okay. I'm not going to kill this character off because you wanted to, and then when the show gets aired and after all the rewrites, and then he got upset because Roddenberry was added to as a co-writer for that episode. And I think Roddenberry ended up taking the Emmy home for the episode. And that kind of pissed him off for years. I never forgot that. So coming back with Babylon 5 and beating the out of Star Trek gave him a kind of perverse pleasure. But also being able to put together a writer's room where he never suffered fools. You had to be on your A game to be in that writer's room with him. So Yes,
I had to run and get it. Yeah, I was like, yes, I know. I've in the cloudy web of my brain, I remember what you're talking about.
Well, those of you that haven't already researched him out or don't know about him, you should. You know, just Google him and look at all of the awards he's won. The guy may have been an a-hole, but you know what? He's won pretty much every award anyone who has ever written could win. He knew what he was talking about. And I guarantee you, had he lived long enough to see Star Trek Discovery, he would have made it a personal mission to let everyone know how he felt about that show and to eviscerate every single episode. That's enough of my soul.
In the Harlan Ellison, whoever said it earlier in the chat, Spock didn't push her out. Kirk runs after her to get her, and then Spock basically tackles him, and then she gets hit by the car.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see any of this, and then Kirk's crying in the corner. You see that? So
yeah, well, that's too much to shoot. It was easier to shoot it the way they ultimately did it in the episode, because it was pretty much a one camera thing.
Yeah, and then there's a really good part at the end of this, because basically this is the script, and they made it it's a hardcover trade or whatever, and like Kirk and Spock have words at the end of this, and it's none of that was in the show, and I felt like it adds such a new layer of character to their relationship that I love so much. So I was very glad I got this when I did. Highly recommend it. Hey, Mom. Oh, shit. Hey, Mom.
He's been a very good boy, Mrs. Dork Knight. He's been a fantastic boy. He gets a pass to
everybody. The second, this is where it's my fault, because the second I let everybody know she was my mom, they always throw her up on the screen like that, and then it just happens. So
better late than never, Daniel. J.R.R. Martin probably can't finish it now. If he changes anything, it will cause people to attack the show or him for changing it, and will people say the show is already crap. I haven't watched the last.
I don't think he cares. I really don't think he cares. I have said this before. This whole thing with Game of Thrones and George R.R. Martin, I really don't think he cares.
I think he gave the ending to HBO and doesn't care anymore.
I think he's willing to change it. I think he's willing to change it.
I 100% agree. Not only willing to change it, I think his outline would probably prove that his ending was different. So
I think he gave it to those guys,
and they were like,
and his thing was win-win no matter what.
I bet his outline was the ending we got. I don't think they. I don't think they.
I think if people had liked it, it would have been a win for him, because it's like, hey, look what we did. And if they didn't, he would have done what he actually ended up doing, just throwing everybody and them under the bus, going, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Well, here's what happened. They didn't have a source material to adapt because they're hacks and they're not real writers. You know what I mean?
No, that is true, but it's also true that he never finished. He had years to finish those books. And he never did.
He's a writer.
You have to remember one thing. Elden Ring is coming out. He has secretly hidden all of the endings to all of his books in Elden Ring. That's where you got to go find it, right? He's going to leave it open to interpretation while beating up other PvPers in a Souls-like.
So what you're saying is he's a genius. He's going to let other companies.
No, I'm not. No, I would not insult geniuses. No, I would not insult geniuses. No, I would not insult geniuses.
Okay.
He's a sub-genius, but
I've seen people at McDonald's drive-thru with more intelligence. Sorry, I'm sorry.
That whole thing with it is, look, it was a television show. The showrunners definitely deserve the blame, but I think George R.R. Martin gets a larger share of the blame than he's been given up to this point, because he knew what he was doing when he stopped giving them stuff.
Like food.
And he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing when he stopped writing. He knew he wasn't going to finish those books.
Let me play devil's advocate. Maybe it's this.
Go ahead.
Maybe he's like, I've been writing these books all these years, and my buddy Kadish is a writer. It sounds glamorous, but you're not you're not a millionaire. You're not a movie actor. You're not a TV producer. So then somebody comes along, and they adapt your shit. And I'm sorry, everybody thought those two, what is their freaking names?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
douche 1, douche 2.
Yeah, that we're running Game of Thrones.
Weiss and Benioff.
Weiss and Benioff, yeah, thank you. Who knows? Maybe like George R.R. Martin was just like, you know what? These guys are taking credit for all this. They're making more money than I'll ever have for the rest of my life.
He goes, I'll give him a messed up ending. He goes, like,
I'll
give
give my shit.
them.
He's like, so you know what? I'm just not gonna give them the ending, and I'm gonna let these untalented hacks come up with whatever they can on their own. And when the world laughs at them, and I release my masterpiece, maybe I'll make that much money, or maybe type of thing, or something like that. Because I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. He might not be petty like that.
I know, but except that a lot of the stuff that has come out since then flows a different way. The dude was being an a-hole. I'm not saying that the showrunners weren't bad. What I'm saying is that I think he never had any intention of finishing those books. He knew he was in trouble because he was stringing fans along for years, even before the TV show came along. He never had any intention of finishing.
Oh, so
a lot of the book fans need to come to that understanding, because a lot of there are those that have. If he wanted to finish it, he could have finished it. He would have been finished well before the TV show went off the air. He didn't.
Right. Well, I'm just saying.
Life's about choices, and he made his.
And maybe he made it from a place of like pettiness. That's all I was saying. Maybe he was just like, screw this. Because you know what? Because here's the thing. Because he didn't do that, and they made the defense they made, and they got hired for all this other shit, and they have subsequently been fired for all that other shit, because people in Hollywood are starting to realize these two guys don't really have an original idea, aren't really good storytellers. They're good. Maybe they're just good at adapting things. You know what I mean?
Actually, they admitted that at South by Southwest. That's the reason why everything fell apart for them, because they admitted it openly.
Oh, they did.
Carried in the news.
Oh
yeah.
You
ought to Google that. That's really nice. They openly said it. It's like, hey, guess what? This is what happened. But when they did that, that also then focused everything on, well, then what's George R.R. Martin's excuse? Because he keeps getting drawn off to all these different projects rather than finishing a book that he kept promising fans he would do.
Here's the thing.
But he had to polish his train. He can't do everything.
What are these other? Hold up, though. No, not even that. We all know that's a bullshit excuse. But like, here's the thing: is someone who's money motivated. Like what? Okay, so here's the thing. Maybe he's got. I don't know any of these details, but typically when you have just from what I know from my buddy Matthew and a few of my other friends who are writers, it's like you get like you sign a contract deal, almost kind of like, I hate to compare everything to it, but like professional wrestling. So like they say like, hey, I'll give you this much money up front, and you're going to give me this much work for this long, or this X amount of books, type of thing, right? And then you know, and this is based off of an outline that you have submitted, interviews that you've had, and basically kind of a sales pitch of you and yourself and all that good stuff. So when that goes through and that happens, and then let's say, how many books are there in the Game of Thrones or whatever, Ice and Fire?
I think he's gotten 4 or 5, and
how many does he owe?
I think he owes 2 more.
Okay, so let's just say way back when he did one of those contracts, and ever since, this TV show has blown up and got him a lot of recognition and has offered him these opportunities for these other projects that you're talking about. And with those opportunities comes more money, probably way more money than he was ever promised by whoever bought, like whatever publishing company, because print is dead. Like, think about this, really. I don't try to defend the guy. I'm actually not a huge fan of his, but I just want to give because I debated in high school and college, I went through this thing called Nietzsche's dialectical process, which is where you really do take the opportunity to try to look at everybody else's point of view. And I can genuinely see a point of view where maybe he's got like a year or 2 or 3 or 10. None of us know, like, because it's like, you got to do this many books over this amount of time based off of this outline and for this much. So he could have a year or 2, or who knows, to put those books out and fulfill his legal obligation and get the rest of his pissant little money he's going to get from that publishing company. So yeah, I mean, if I were him, I would manage my time in a way where, like, I'm going to strike while the iron's hot, and I'm going to make as much money as I can right now while the getting's good. and I know I got this thing. And maybe that's also because I'm an entrepreneur and I've worked for myself for like 23 years, but that I can understand, I can see that mind frame. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to wait for those books to come out.
And that's great, except for he made promises to fans about finishing the story.
Well, or promises the fans going to pay my bills. I mean, come on.
Hey, I get it, but when you've been stringing your fans along and you've made promises as to when you were going to finish, my thing is everything else after that's excuse. I understand you got to strike while they are, and that's fine. But he had to have known, having worked in television, what was going to happen. And again, Benioff and Weiss, this was their project. Whether it was good or bad, they take the heat no matter what. But he knew what he was doing. And in my opinion, he shares as much blame as the two of them for how that show went, because he knew what he was doing when he left those guys high and dry.
You know what? I will agree with that. But I kind of respect him taking a stance for himself, because from his point of view, that's probably all he could do. Because, he like, who knows? He might have gone to HBO and be like, hey, I'm only going to get this much to finish the story for you, and you're paying these guys this much. Why don't you give me this much? Yeah, I hate to be like this. He's told two different stories as to how this was to end. His first version of the story was he got mad at these guys and decided to stop the show. The story that he recently came out with a few years ago was, well, he wanted the show to go longer, and he told HBO he wanted to go longer. You can't have it both ways, dude. You cannot have it both ways. You either got mad at the guys, left the show, and decided you're done, or,
Thank you, Jack Nicholson. Sorry.
Again, I get it. I for a long time, I was like you, Dork. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. But I also knew about his television background. He's not a novice. He worked in television before. He's worked on a hit. He knows exactly what it takes. So for me, I had to come to the hard realization that he knew what he was doing. He's screwing around, and he's just going to do what he wants. And that's fine. That's fine. He could have easily hired a couple of ghostwriters, and after a while, it becomes your fans, the people who have stuck with you all these years, who you're still owe these stories to, who you've told multiple times. I'm going to get it here. I'm going to put it out this time. Oh, I got to move the date. I'm going to do this. People can forgive a lot. But if you keep stringing people along, eventually you got to face facts that he's never really going to do this. And it's
like my therapist. Are we talking about my ex-girlfriend or I'm really confused right now, man. Like, I'm having some PTSD. I think I got to go.
I'm sorry. It's just, this was a part of a show that I did. And eventually I just had to realize he's just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry. He's not.
No, it is not a song of Wheels of Time. What the fuck, Archer? No, Wheels of Time is bad. No. Hey,
anyway, again, I think George R.R. Martin's a talented guy, but,
No, he's running on time worse than memes, okay?
He's got 2 speeds, slow and stop.
And again, he's made so much money.
Slow and cardiac arrest.
I can't feel bad for the dude.
Hey, man, I told you I had a heart attack. That's not funny. Come on now. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I didn't know you had a heart attack. Did you? I'm sorry.
I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That led to him losing all the weight. And again,
yeah.
Oh.
See, he listens. Thank you, Keith.
Fake news.
I'm gonna show. You know what? I'm gonna show you guys a picture.
No, I believe you. I don't want to see you in your men's lingerie. I really don't.
Like, anyway. I'll show people like pictures of me when I was 400 pounds, and they just like at first they're in denial, and then they see like because the only thing that's the same is like this right here. You know what I mean? And they're like, "Oh my God, that is you!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's crazy, right?" So hey, let this be a cautionary tale. If you're feeling big and you don't want to have a heart attack when you're 37, lose some weight. Just change your diet. That's literally all I did. Just change your diet. It's crazy. I walk a little bit, listen to podcasts, but just change your diet.
Yeah, you got to come back.
Oh, shit. Hey, guys, I guess I really do got to go.
All right, we're wrapping up right now because he is going to be grounded on the couch.
Yeah, shit.
My fault, Cecilia. He was arguing with me. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
And with that, we're going to wrap up. Stay for the outro, ladies and gentlemen. Episodes 9 and 10, I believe, next week, as long as everything goes well. Other than that, I do apologize for the politics stuff bringing up. Adega and Memes will hopefully be back and be able to stay for the full time. Thank you, Gary, Kate, Monkey Jeebus, a Dig Outlaw for previously. George R. R. Martin, thank you for just being memeable. And Dork Knight, thank you for not only being here, but for getting to pick up the wife.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day. That Bart Simpson routine is going to happen like in the rain with the soccer. And I'm supposed to do something today. What was it? Y'all stay healthy, I guess. And remember, Santa's husband kissed Fat Steven's ass. There is a rosebud out there for everyone, even in Babylon 5. This is Keith looking at Straczynski's window. Mulberry juice is real.
And you're going to keep that message from my girl up this whole time, aren't you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the outro, guys. I do apologize. Wait, and one more thing. Betty White has 99 problems, but death ain't one. We're out, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day. He's in trouble. Peace. Wait, where's my outro? Oh, no. Wait, I got to put his comment back up.
Oh, God.
Oh, where's my outro? Oh, my God. I don't even have an outro. Where'd it go? Oh, there's the outro. Guys! Don't ground him. And thank you, Shay, for repping your sponsorship to the channel. Thank you. It's not too soon. I made that meme when she died. She would have laughed at it.